That's not bad. Already hit enter, but that's a good title. Ready? If you guys are ready, I will pretend that I am as well.
All right, I'm just gonna put this so we can give credit to the YouTube channel where I pulled this. All right, so this is Lackluster. He does a lot of police body cam and incident videos, which are it's very fun rabbit hole to fall into. So we're starting with the before, which is this dude just swimming laps at his community pool in Palm Beach, Florida, right next to Mar-a-Lago. This is down the street from where that shit is.
by
Oh,
a
so
woman
this
who
house is
arrived
only worth
later
like
that he swam the other
2
length of.
million.
Yeah, so he's swimming lanes. Karen over here comes in, tells him that he needs to swim the other direction because she's going to swim in the pool. And he tells her to just go, that he's not going to do that.
The pool.
Yeah, pound
Ryan
sand.
refused and the two collided, causing a verbal dispute. The
Okay,
woman
kids,
called her
pause it there.
husband and
His breaststroke was not very technique wise was subpar.
Hey,
Hey,
Boosh
Boosh.
watching on your channel.
Yeah,
so
of course
she's
he is.
so she immediately goes to full Karen. She gets out, gets on her phone and
Why?
calls her husband because they collided when they were both swimming laps in opposite directions.
instead of removing themselves from the
Because
situation,
even though
the
he
two
was there
continued to
first
advance.
doing his thing, she showed up and then said, "Now I want everyone to do things the way that I want them to do things and accommodate me."
Yep.
And that didn't
So,
happen, and now she's going full Karen.
So the
Gotcha.
person here blurred on the left is her husband, who has now come onto the scene.
On Ryan until the man brandished
So this dude pulls up his shirt to show the concealed pistol that he's got.
Wait,
and
which
tells
dude?
him the guy in the gray shirt is the husband of the Karen.
I thought that's another woman.
No, no. So he
Dude.
goes over to our swimmer,
Okay.
who's the main guy.
Hold on, I'm
Yeah,
not
let's
full screen
pause.
this shit.
Yeah, let's pause for a second here because I got to ask Matt a question.
Yeah.
Raising up your shirt to show someone a weapon in a
Is a threat.
situation like this,
It's
that's
brandished.
assault
With
with
a
a deadly weapon,
yeah.
is it not?
Yeah, absolutely. By the way, why does he have a nicer ass than his girlfriend?
Really not helping the police being gay thing.
She is a toothpick compared to that ass.
I completely edited out their audio from this event because it's unnecessary. We see exactly what he did. You don't really. There's a whole segment where he lies and he's like, "I have no idea how this guy thought I had a gun."
Wait, also, is he wearing a bikini bottom?
No, that's the it's wearing like cargo shorts.
He's wearing cargo
Oh.
shorts with a tactical belt.
With
Okay.
a tactical belt with the holster inside the waistband abdomen
Oh,
carry.
I thought he was wearing a bikini bottom. That's why I was like, dude, his ass is nicer than the. That's why I thought it was another chick because
Because it looks like
khaki-
he's wearing a Speedo.
Yes,
Yep. So all right. So
I just thought it was another one of those.
his firearm.
yeah,
This
so
is
there-
why I avoid khaki pants. Because
Yeah.
if you get bad footage like this, like
True,
people might think I'm
true.
not wearing pants at all, and I don't
No,
like that.
guys, I had khakis on.
Remember
They were
Will Smith
cargo
slapping
shorts.
Chris Rock because of Jada? Same thing. Yep. It's always don't
Oh,
bros do not let the bitch Karens drag you down.
there's a
And
great.
here's the thing: women would be so much better if they're men. All
Yep,
men,
if they were men.
because we got to do this as a unit. We have to move with one purpose. But when a woman is wrong, I don't care if you're dating her. Tell her she's wrong.
Yeah, but then they're not gonna get laid. That's the whole thing. That's why you hear so many shit singers at karaoke that are chicks because no one has ever, you know what I mean? Every guy she's ever talked to is like, "Oh, you sing like an angel. Can you touch my dick?"
Yeah, well,
Hey,
if
Sherry,
you do the
welcome
job
to the
right,
show.
you can withhold longer than she can. I promise.
But
Uh,
go ahead. I
causing
forgot
both
what-
parties to call 911
so
after
both
Ryan
of them call 911. I'm speeding
course
this up a
they do.
little bit. So this is the first officer at the
was called to
scene.
911.
Our dude comes out, talks to the officer, tells him the other guy was brandishing and he needs to go talk to him.
The first officer on scene checks in with him and goes inside to find the suspect.
All right, so the issue now, Matt, is for the next person who gets on the scene.
Ryan waits outside. And
Dude, is
shortly
he
after,
holding the shirt up
Officer
again, or
Bethany
does he just
Guerrero
have it tied off like a game?
No, he was holding it up. Who the
Okay.
fuck
So,
is
This is the
them?
officer that causes the problem. She's the next one on the scene.
That's a woman?
That is a woman.
Man, she's taking a lot of
Oh.
testosterone.
Is this the one where she's yelling? I don't know. That's always the video.
Arrives on scene. As she pulls in,
It's my
the
favorite
first
one,
officer
so maybe-
informs
Dude, is
her
she
of
gonna
his
do
presence.
to that cat what was done to the dog?
I thought she was gonna start throwing maxi pads like they do in Secret Service.
Oh
Make sure
god.
I'm making contact on the other side of the pool, just let me know.
All right, so that was the dash video or her body
Yeah.
cam video showing it with the other officer saying, "I'm going inside the pool after having made contact with this dude to talk
Oh,
to
that
the
wasn't
guy."
her voice?
No.
Oh,
She
okay.
acknowledges the hail as she exits next
All right, so she comes out of her car, and there's another officer also pulling up, about to get out.
to another officer
Yeah, and he's
pulling
double
in and
parked like
approaches
an
Ryan,
asshole.
dressed in nothing but a bathing suit.
Well, yeah,
This
he's
is
at a
where-
pool.
This
Yeah.
is where it gets real.
Hands out your pockets for me.
I'm not the one who does.
Sir, I don't keep your hands out of your pockets. Put the phone
I
down.
haven't done a crime. Don't talk to me like
Listen
that.
to me. I don't know.
Oh,
you.
I think I
Listen,
have seen
sit
this.
down.
You're the one with the gun. Why
Get down on the ground now.
So she has
Get
now
down
just
on the
drawn
ground.
her
Get
gun
down
on
the
him.
ground.
What the
I told
fuck?
you not
That's
to
why
reach for anything.
I haven't committed a crime. You don't have any.
Hands out to your side now.
That was exactly like 2 seconds into the interaction where she's pulling
Oh
the gun
my
out.
god, bro!
Oh.
Here's the all right. I got a story right that's gonna help with this. Okay.
Dude, do you have any reasonable expectation that that guy means to do any sort of serious harm to you? Like,
He's in a bathing suit too. He's got bathing suit and little
that
slip-on
escalation of
Crocs.
force went from high to I'm gonna fucking shoot you real quick.
And also, when you see their setup, she's got a taser too. Like, because the
Yeah,
other
yeah, of course she
officer
does.
draws his taser. And I was like, I was showing my wife this. I was like, this bitch went straight to lethal force when she had a taser
Dude,
available.
the escalation is physical presence, verbal commands, soft controls, hard controls, intermediate weapons. Like, there's so
But you can
many
skip-
things you
you-
have to go through.
No, you don't have to. You can skip from 0 to 10. If she drove up, got out of the car, and he had a Uzi, you can skip.
well,
you can skip all those to 10.
If all lesser means have failed or cannot be reasonably employed,
Right.
there was no reason to expect that
Absolutely not.
nothing in between there
Hey,
could not
Matt,
be reasonably
Can
employed.
I ask, like, dude, bro, in little Crocs in his bathing suit, is sitting in a parking lot
dangerous.
Well, and he wasn't walking up on her; he was backing away from her,
With
like
his
he was
hands
making
up.
way. Like,
and there's
Uh,
another officer right next
you
to her,
have
too.
no reason to go straight to your
So-
gun in that situation.
I have a story right that will help with this. Security guards were getting harassed by some cuckoo banana guy. I get called out. He's already walking away, but I'm gonna have to do at least a quick
Interview?
little no quick little I'm gonna need this information just to do a quick little police little report thing, right? I forgot what it's called,
Yeah.
man. I'm blinking on it. Anyway,
A police
Um,
report? An
no,
incident report?
no. It's something specific. It's because it's not really official. It's gonna say, hey, this is the activity that I did at this time with these people, kind of a thing. Anyway, and nothing came of it, and then you encode that shit. But basically, when I got there, he was already going away. I pull up. I'm like, hey man, just stop for a second, bro. I just need some quick information. He's like, I didn't do nothing. I'm not saying you did. Just need your name from a report. And I get out, and so with my left hand, I'm clicking my mic, right? Like, hey, be advised, I'm out, blah, 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 right? And he turns around, by the way, he's like 6'4", 220 prison built for a reason, and balls up his fist, right? Without even letting go of the mic, I draw. I'm like, get on the ground. I'm not doing this. Get on the ground. You're too big. I'm not going to wrestle with you. Whenever I've been interactive with somebody that's huge,
hands on with someone that big.
I've always told him, like, look, man, I'm just gonna let you know right now, you're too big to get on the ground and wrestle with, so I will shoot you if
Yeah.
you fuck around. And they
Yeah,
kind of laugh about
I'm
it.
not even going to. You see this baton? I will not draw this baton. I will
Nope.
just shoot you.
Yep. Anyway,
Because what happens if I hit you with the baton and it doesn't knock you the fuck down? Like,
but
you take it and you kill me. No.
by the way, this guy just got out of prison for attempted capital murder. He did 10 years. He tried to kill a cop.
So he'd
He
have
only
no problem.
attempted it, though.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, I pull on him. I'm telling him to get down. Everybody hears this and fucking start rushing to my location, right? And he just turns around and starts walking away, right? When the second officer, who happened to be my sergeant, when he gets there, I immediately put my weapon away and brought out my baton, because now the scenario is entirely different. It is not just me and him. It's myself and another officer. Hey, Nick. So
Yeah, but depending upon, like, I mean, if we recall the what was it, the Wendy's incident a year or two back, like, Depending upon the size of the guy and what
He had a
might be
taser and was
coursing
shoot-
through his blood.
He had a of course. But the guy at the Wendy's, he had a taser and actually looked back with the taser trying to tase the cop that was after him. And that's when he got shot.
Yeah, and Bush makes the same point that I think we're both saying too. You know, that was a 6'4" black guy with a criminal history of extreme violence. This is a half-naked man by the pool. Like, and that's the other
again,
thing. With
that
what
highlights.
he's wearing, he can't hide a weapon.
Yes, that highlights what I'm saying. There is zero reason why you show up onto a scene where there's already police, and you show up with someone and you immediately go with deadly.
And that's why, like, yeah, you can see in the upper right is like a lamppost camera that they had at this complex. You can see the other officer was there the entire time with her. She was not by herself. So
that was the point of the story. Was as soon as I had backup, it changed. Go ahead.
There you go. You can see her gun.
That is not a taser.
Nope.
Also, those nails are too nice for this work.
You can't get me for what?
Yes, I can.
For what?
I don't know you.
I don't know you.
She's like, I'm gonna arrest
That is
you
such
because I
a
don't know
shit.
you.
That is
You're
a.
the ones with guns.
What the fuck is she doing?
She's cuffing him.
Wait.
She is detaining him.
Oh, I thought she had
and
Crocs.
It's always a good look too when you say you think this is funny.
Who said that?
That
She
always
did to
really
him.
wins
No.
over. She did. She said you think this is funny.
Roll it back a little.
Roll it back.
Oh, you can't do subtitles, can you? Oh, well, I mean,
They're
it says
right
it right
there.
there on the screen. Yeah.
I'm detaining you right
That's
now
fine. You're detaining me for
Oh.
a crime.
because you don't want to listen.
That's not.
She's
What? That's not a
detaining
crime.
you because he
You don't
don't
wanna
want to
listen.
listen.
Well, okay, it kind of, because if you're disobeying the lawful orders of a police officer and it is hindering an investigation or what have you, then yeah. But
I would, if I was the counter attorney in this situation, I would say there's a continuum of events that would normally be in play, and the fact that he immediately had his hands up and was backing away didn't mean that she should escalate to drawing the weapon. I think I'd win the case.
true. But I have no problem with her putting him in handcuffs. I don't have an issue with that whatsoever. Do it all the time. Throw him in handcuffs, man, and then we'll figure out what's happening. That's how.
Yeah.
Not a crime.
You're detained for further investigation.
Yes, they
Period.
are.
Yeah, because the last thing you want
I
in a
called you guys for
situation
help
like
'cause
this is to find out that this was the guy who was
Absolutely.
causing the problem while you're interviewing the other guy, and then suddenly you
But-
take a
okay.
hit to the back of the head. You know.
So that's why I
Like-
made a point of the other officer like radioing in that I had, I'm going
Well,
in and I'm talking.
And
to
the
him.
other thing is, even in this situation, you don't come in hot like that, especially if
Mhm.
because he's being verbally compliant. He was
All right,
being verbally
so-
compliant from the get-go. So there's a certain
Well-
degree of intensity that you adopt with a verbally compliant.
To
Something
answer
I would
Nick's
always
question,
tell-
yes, this is in West Palm Beach. It is Florida. This is definitely
So-
Florida.
Something
If
I
you
would
did
always
want to
tell.
put the guy in cuffs, you'd be like, "Hey, I'm gonna put you in handcuffs, okay? So I need you to turn around, put your hands behind your back." Like you wouldn't be like, "Get down on the ground," and you wouldn't pull your gun on him. You'd just be like, "We're just gonna get this sorted out. I'm going to detain you for while we figure this out. So please turn around, put your hands behind your back."
Well,
You
let's
know,
see
like-
Something-
yeah, let's see what Mad says. Yeah.
Oh, something I always told the new guys was you need to be careful when you're arriving at the scene and you don't have all the information because victims can become subjects as quickly as subjects can become victims. One time we went to a domestic, right? And we get there and there's this dude is bleeding all from every orifices on his face. I mean, just got the shit beat out of him, right? So you're thinking, oh, this must be the victim. No. See, he's the ex-husband that showed up and like pushed his ex-wife who was staying with her brother into the car and dented. And then the brother came out and just beat the shit out of him.
I
and
know
had
he
to be-
loved that car.
like a good brother should.
Yeah. Oh, it was his. Yeah, it was. He
I was
just bought
waiting
it
for
bro.
that to register.
It was a
with Mad.
lease. It was a lease. Anyway, so by the way, how do I say this without it sounding too bad? So basically, the way it was written was that the brother engaged with the guy defending his, and once he was no longer a threat, he disengaged and called for the police. That's not exactly. He did disengage, but it was because the neighbors were dragging him off of him.
So in
But
reality,
the dude was a complete
he was
dickhead. We
beating
don't.
the
Hey,
shit
hey,
out of him.
okay, here's the
Once
thing.
the neighbors stopped him from beating the shit out of him, he called the cops.
That's what.
The
Yeah.
how and why he disengaged is irrelevant. He
Exactly.
disengaged.
That's why, man, dude. I used to always say, bro, if you can articulate, you can get away with a lot of shit as a cop.
Imp over here. I guess Glock isn't quite a universal language after all. No,
I mean,
it's
he got on the ground, didn't he?
It's Austrian, and
No, that's a reference to me. I got in trouble one time. I showed up to more security guards actually. I showed up to these security guards because they stopped somebody and they thought they were drunk or whatever. So I show up and the guy goes, "Hey man, just to let you know, I don't think they speak English." I'm like, "No problem, man. Glock's an international language. I got this." He did not thought it was, he didn't think it was as quite as funny as I did, nor did
I think that's
my
a
captain.
great line. That should be in a movie. That's
It's a great line, right?
That's a buddy cop line right there. You're like, let's see, continue.
This guy's brandishing a gun at me.
So,
Ooh, how
just
about
to add
no?
more, just
Sorry,
to add more
real-
context, I was just going to say they got the report that the dude with the gun was about 5'3", wearing a gray shirt and brown hair.
Yeah, this guy is not that.
Do you remember how much taller he was than the dude when they were talking
Yeah.
on that camera? So
He had more than a foot on him.
so they have the information on who the description of the person with the gun is, FYI, going into this.
real quick, I was gonna say, you know what would be another good version of it? Don't worry, Mike Glock is bilingual.
That's even better. Matt, you got to talk to Script Doctor about working these into some buddy cop movies.
Hey, would this work in the John Madden movie?
Sit down. I didn't say come on.
All right, so this is another part I love, right? So
Wait, hold on.
listen carefully. She tells
She
him.
let him get up.
She tells him
No.
to sit up, and then she tells him, "I didn't tell you that. Get down."
Because you don't want to listen.
That's not a crime. Are your body cams on?
Yes, they sure
Good.
are.
Good. I called you guys for help because this guy's brandishing a gun at me.
Sit up.
Sit down. I didn't say get up. I said sit down.
Who is this? Where's your
Oh,
supervisor?
well,
I'm
she's
getting one.
great.
She's giving the problem, and I've seen this in a lot of
Are
police
his nails
videos.
painted?
I don't think so. I think those were hers.
No, those are his.
Oh, where? I mean,
On his feet.
I can't tell from this angle. It
I
doesn't
think
look
that's
like
just
it.
I think that's Shadow.
Yeah, that just looks like shadow. Because look at the other foot.
Look at the right foot that's in the light.
That's what I'm saying. Peeking up over the light. It doesn't look like they're painted.
Okay.
Anyway,
He didn't.
but
yeah, he didn't sound like a guy that.
what I
would
was
have
going to say
painted.
is sometimes
Maybe
one
he
of
put
the
a nice
things,
clear coat on them.
and maybe Mad can speak to this as someone with experience. One of the issues I see that causes a lot of the problems is where where some of the officers will give really quick and contradictory instructions. And so
Yeah.
when they're trying to comply with one, it'll seem like they're not listening to the one they gave right after the other
It's-
instruction, and it causes like escalation when there doesn't need to be.
Right. I have a problem with that as well when I see videos and there's 5 or 6 different cops yelling at him.
Yep.
Even if they are,
One's yelling, "Put your hands behind your back." One's like on the ground with your hands. In
another
front of
one's
you.
put your hands up. And
Well, then he
What's-
tries to pull his pants up and he gets filled full of lead.
It's almost like Super
This
Troopers when
happened
they're
to a
giving
guy.
like pull the car over. It's pulled over. Pull
And
the car.
it's one that nobody talks about because it was a white guy that it happened to.
Yeah,
Well-
yeah, Boosh. I picked this video because she's at a 10 for no reason while he's complying.
yeah, even if even if all the cops were yelling the same thing, it wouldn't matter because you wouldn't be able to understand because everybody's yelling at different, times.
Well,
Hold on, I got something real quick.
And that's something Bush like hits the nail on the head, right? Like because you've got passive compliant, aggressive
You want me
compliant,
to put this on, man?
passive non-compliant, aggressive non-compliant. Like he's being passive compliant,
Yes.
and she's treating him like an aggressive non-compliant.
The hell is that? Ready?
Tried to run away on his little skitter
Oh,
board.
this
Did you
this
really?
little.
Get back to the playground. The monkey bars.
Hey, that dude was in Fallout.
I think it's nice.
Who? That guy? Yeah,
The
he's
guy in the
funny,
middle,
dude.
He was in
yeah.
Fallout.
I've seen him in a lot of
Still
stuff.
exit people?
He's a little older now.
Do you? Yeah, it's
Well, yeah, this movie didn't come out.
rude.
This was the one where
People's
they were
feelings
the
and they rest
neighborhood
their
watch,
faces.
right?
And
Yeah.
now you deal with the consequences.
Homegirl's trying to make an omelet.
Yeah, look at me. Look at his face. Look at my face. Look at his face and listen to me. Look at him and listen to me.
Look at him and understand me. Look at both of us, but understand
Yep.
no one. Listen to my
Yep.
words and hear his face.
Do you think it is funny?
Anyway, that was it.
That's and yeah, that's yeah,
Perfect, right?
Thaddeus in Fallout. I like Thaddeus. Thaddeus, like I liked
I
him
did
more
too.
than I liked the guy that was the
Yeah,
wearing
I
the
liked
power
him
armor.
though. I think I know the exact moment when he won me over was when he said like, "You want to touch my dick?" or whatever he
Oh,
said.
you want to make my cock explode?
That's it. Yeah, I'm like, whoa. And also he's like, but it doesn't happen to me. It happens to a lot of guys, but not me.
Listen to my words, meow. All right, so bear in mind she's supposedly in fear for her life because she thinks he might have a gun and wasn't
Who?
listening. This is I'm also using knowledge I have of this case later. So she had this dude on the ground, handcuffed in his bathing suit, didn't search him or pat him real quick to see if there was a firearm.
You didn't need to. Like he's wearing swim trunks.
Well, I mean, she's
If there was a firearm anywhere on his person, you'd see it, even if it was under the trunks.
I'm
see
giving
it.
her the benefit of the doubt that based on her
I'm
haircut,
not.
no, based on her haircut, she might not be familiar with what is normal anatomy versus a firearm. So,
Oh, boy.
Wow.
well, that will also be borne out later in this sequence of events too. So, but you can see the in the upper right, we've got the video of what they're looking like with the two
Yeah.
officers over him. This dude is
He's talking to me. I
in
haven't done
control,
anything.
right? Like he's being.
Why am I in handcuffs? I don't care. You're not my
being
mom.
funny because I'm
You're not my
coming here
dad.
for a gun.
That's fine. I don't have a gun. I haven't committed a crime.
And when I told you to keep your hands out of your pocket.
Yes,
You're
his
not
nails
my-
are
I
painted.
didn't commit a crime. You don't get to tell me what to do.
It is
Yes,
West
I
Palm
do.
No,
Beach.
you don't.
His
Why are you
nails are
yelling at me?
painted,
Because
and
I have every
those
Who
are
are
tight
you?
trunks.
What's your badge number?
321 Guerrero, Guerri. Make sure you spell it right.
If you're this scared,
This is the part where I love, like, she's
Also,
not.
again, make sure you spell it right. Like, fuck off.
I know, it's so lame, dude.
That is
hate...
probably torn. It's a cop, but it's a woman.
No. I will throw a cop under the bus if they do something wrong. As quickly as
I don't know why
necessary. I don't
she's
know.
being so aggressive with this guy.
don't
Especially
either.
since there are
She-
now 3 police officers around him.
Yeah.
I
And I'm going to point out nothing in this guy's demeanor so far is he's not escalating it.
No, he's been totally compliant.
He
the entire
wasn't
time,
even
which is
yelling
why
right there.
this
He's like,
response
"Why
is
are you so
ridiculous."
mad at me?"
not to mention
Yeah.
2/3 of his tank is sugar.
Yeah.
of a guy in a
Dad, I've been here
swimsuit,
for 20 years.
20 years is important. We'll get back to that shortly.
you're terrified of a guy in a swimsuit. I didn't do anything.
You can shut your mouth.
They
now.
just detained me. I explained. There's no gun. That guy
I don't
has a gun.
detain anybody for no reason.
Then what reason?
Because I.
What crime did I commit for
Can
you
you
to detain
shut
me?
your mouth so I can explain it to
You
you?
don't have to
in
commit a
charge of
crime to
this
be
lady?
detained.
Yeah,
For
I
the
mean,
record, you don't have to be charged with a crime to be detained.
there are
No.
yes that you can be
Well,
all
and,
right,
and
but
that's
you
what I
can
was
be
saying earlier.
It's reasonable to again. There's a lot of caveats to that.
It's the method by which she is interacting with this person. She's not. I mean, this reflects poorly on the entire precinct that she's a part of.
It reflects
Like-
horrible on the guys that are standing there. No
Not
one
doing
is
anything.
grabbing
Yeah, why
her.
are they not getting her the fuck away and
The
being
smart
like,
thing
okay,
to do,
why don't
actually,
we go
yeah,
do something else?
Yeah, would be saying, "Hey, we've got this now. You can.
This
Why don't you go do a perimeter sweep for
no,
the
no,
other
no,
people?" or
none of that.
something?
Why don't you go write some parking tickets, bitch? You're out of your depth.
I had to deal with this quite a bit, man. You always have those guys that are way too aggressive. It's almost as like they always get in a fight with somebody. You know, I don't know if they're spitting in their ear when we're not looking, but what I would have done, like, hey, Battle, come over here. Let me talk to you for a second. Just call them to the side and be like, yo, get your shit together. Go to the car, get something to drink, fucking take a breath, and we'll take it from here.
Go grab
Basically,
you a fucking coffee and calm the fuck down.
Mad, you remember Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? You basically want to take him into the trailer like Leonardo DiCaprio. Like, you're losing your shit in front of everybody. Like, calm down. Get it together. Get it together.
Yeah. Oh, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Yeah. I thought you were saying, remember Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? And it was going to tell me something about that happened in Hollywood.
No, I was
Once upon
saying,
a time ago.
No, with the part
Yeah,
with
I know.
DiCaprio. I feel like that's what she needs right now. Someone to pull her and be like, "You're going nuts here."
You're fucking losing it. You're losing it.
But again, this
Who's the
also
This is absurd. Why am I in handcuffs on the ground? Are you a supervisor?
No, he's not.
Can someone explain why I'm
There's
handcuffed?
4 cops now.
So I can talk
4
to you?
fucking cops.
Okay, I look at the nails. He's clearly
I said this.
very. I know, but no,
Yeah,
you
he's-
didn't point
he's a
this
little
out. Look
fancy.
at the nails. Look how fancy they are.
Like I said, and he's wearing real short, tight shorts. So
Slender, I'm glad you pointed out that his nails were painted.
yeah. I'm glad I could
It's because of shadow. Anyways,
clarify that.
this is exactly what I was talking about with karaoke. All these men are standing around and no one's saying, "Hey, you're a shit cop."
and
They're-
they should be.
Yeah, they're
And
just
no
like,
one
"Oh,
and she said she's been on the force for 20 years. So in 20 years, no one has told her she's a shit cop.
exactly."
She
It's the
thinks
same
she's
as
doing it
karaoke.
right.
Yes. Ugh, go on.
You're furious. What did I do?
You did not listen.
You're not my boss.
Listen to
I don't
me.
need to listen to you.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
By the way, all I can think of now is that this dude is totally gay fat. So it's
I mean,
too
at
bad
this
for
point,
him.
he really doesn't need to listen to her either because,
mean-
like, he's already been detained.
I cannot believe they let this go on so long. She's sitting here
Who
arguing
are
with
you?
him like a fucking
Like a
toddler.
4-year-old.
I didn't commit a crime. I don't give a fuck. I didn't commit a crime. She doesn't get to detain me.
Yes,
pull
I
her
do.
gun. Pull her gun on me.
Because when
Put
you
me
put
on the
your
ground.
hands in your pocket and
I
I'm
didn't
getting
commit
a
a
phone call
crime.
of a
I don't
gun,
care.
you
You're
don't
that
wanna listen.
terrified? You shouldn't be a cop
Here we
if you're
go.
that terrified.
I've been here for 20 years.
Yeah,
pal.
I agree.
Yeah, here. Go somewhere real.
Ryan is referencing
Go
the
somewhere real.
because she's been a cop in Palm Beach Gardens, which
I
is
saw
right
that
down
on
the
the
street.
car.
It's like right down the street from Mar-a-Lago in Florida. It's like
Oh man,
you're not dealing with like what Mad was dealing.
Yo, if
You ain't
this-
dealing with what Reen Tambo had to deal with on a daily basis.
if this dude is telling her, "Yo, this place is way too white and safe for you to be," you know what I mean? Like, man, that's embarrassing.
I don't know what you're talking about, Matt. It's a war zone out there, man.
But in their defense at Palm Beach Gardens, just because your town or your jurisdiction is safe does not mean that you're not going to get overflow from the surrounding areas. Like there's a little town here in San Antonio proper called Alamo Heights. Very, very small. They actually tried to get me
Dude, once you add Heights to the name of a town, it's not really a good place anymore.
yeah, it's very tiny. They have man, I don't know, less than 20 officers maybe. Anyway, they really wanted me to go, but they didn't pay enough. But yeah, man, even though they're a small town, but they're right there in the middle of San Antonio and there's traffic going through and through and through, you know? So it's not as if they don't get
Traffic
anything.
going through.
They
and
just have a
then,
smaller
like,
eenarea.
Like my hometown was a population
Almost
of
like
like 3,500,
trafficking.
right? And you didn't go to the low income housing. Just not if you were a white person. Like you would not come back out if you went into that neighborhood.
The fact that Palm Beach Gardens is home of the PGA, some of the lowest crime rates in Florida, and neighbors Mar-a-Lago.
You're terrified in Palm Beach
know what?
Gardens.
Do
Are
me
you
a
a
favor.
supervisor? Can you ask this lady why I'm in
I
handcuffs?
mean,
Tell her
I
what crime.
would
Keep
hope
trying
that
to
the
tell you
supervisor
what
is here
crime
because
you
there's
owe
like
me.
15
What
cops
crime?
here now.
Let's bring it down a notch,
No,
okay?
just tell me what crime I'm in
No,
handcuffs
you
for.
need to bring it
Because
down.
I get
Hey,
called
LG, hey,
because someone
Pixels.
is-
What's suspicion?
You don't need to be in crime.
Like the other officers are not doing
Wait, what did he
anything
say?
to calm her down.
What did that guy say?
a notch,
No,
okay?
just tell me what crime I'm in handcuffs for.
Because I get called it because
Crime.
someone is.
What's suspicion?
You don't need to be in crime.
Yes,
you
I
don't
do.
need
To detain me, you
detain
need suspicion of a crime.
No, you do
She
not.
yes, you do. You don't know the
He's
law.
right.
Please explain it
not
to him. You cannot just go around
detain.
and
Yeah, so this is where I said there's a little nuance to it. A cop can detain you in
Yeah.
the reasonable investigation of a crime with suspicion of a crime. And he is correct that at this point, there should, if she was worried he was the dude with the gun, he's in a position where they could clearly confirm he isn't and be done with the detention. So,
But again, like the whole thing that is he's being compliant and has been compliant from the off.
Yeah,
Why'd
but
she
he's
come
gay.
out so intense? Like the level of intensity she approached him with was not
Gay recognizes
commensurate.
gay, and she knows how bitchy a gay man can be.
Well, they're both bitching at each other. They're being
Exactly.
like this is a cat fight. This is basically a cat fight.
Yeah, Boosh, this is the issue. She escalated when unnecessarily. Like, there's nowhere, in my layman opinion, on the use of force continuum, that she should have jumped right to lethal force given the circumstances.
Well,
So-
Also-
and the big issue too is like, there was no reason for her to come out that hot, and she's making the situation worse by escalating. He's matching her level of intensity.
I was about to say that. Listen, the problem with this is that now all of the attention from the officers, the 5 or 6 that are now there surrounding him, now all
It's
the
off
attention
the guy
is,
with the gun.
exactly, is on the guy that doesn't have a gun.
But like,
random
calm down. Can you calm down for a second?
I'm in
Can you
handcuffs.
calm down? Obviously,
one of the
I
main
love it.
things
They
these
keep
police
telling
are
him
supposed
to
to be trying to do.
No, but they
is
keep telling him
de-escalate
to
the
calm
situation.
down, and he hasn't really been yelling.
No, he
or,
hasn't
you know,
gotten that.
He doesn't seem that. I mean, I think he's genuinely pissed off. He's in cuffs, but I don't think he's not. You know,
Well,
he's,
and rightfully so. He like I said, she's escalating the situation when the whole purpose of being there in the first place
Can I
is
stand
to
up?
de-escalate.
no, you can have a seat on the ground.
For what crime? What did
I'm
I
in
do?
charge, not you.
No, you're not.
And you blue nail polish, cute.
Whoa! Why would you do that?
I think you're
Boy.
right, Matt. I think she's got a problem with the gays.
I told
Yeah,
you.
she's
Let-
she's being a little homophobic, I think.
I'm not gonna do it. What did I do?
He's just slid gently of like a quarter-inch back on the concrete in handcuffs, and they're going nuts like he's about to tackle them.
And I will say, side note, maybe he's got a daughter or a niece that painted his toes.
By the way,
no.
Okay, that could happen, but there's other evidence. Anyways, to be
There
fair,
is. There's a preponderance of evidence. I'll give you that.
to be fair, I have had a guy. There was multiple people in the car. It's just me and one other guy, and we're fucking fighting with them. And I got one in the handcuff, and then he's fighting with the other guy. So I've run over and I'm trying to grab him. The dude in handcuffs jumped up and charged me with his head down like a fucking ram.
Like a rhinoceros.
Yeah, like a rhinosaur.
Oh, he tried to spear you?
Yeah. Oh, he
He
kept put on
he
his
tried
ass.
to Goldberg you.
Yeah, he did. Yeah, oh, he tried.
All right.
How'd that
What
work
did I
out?
do? Don't try to get up.
Wait, now we have another
Excuse me, sir, are you
officer
in
joining
charge?
the scene.
Well, hold on. Let me tell him how
Swear to
it
God,
went
like,
down.
do the officers just hang out by this pool? Because it seems like
There's nothing else going
This
on.
is
Anyway,
West Palm Beach Gardens. They're just like, we got a
Oh my
call for
God.
something. We're
But-
all going.
to answer your question, Slender, how did it turn out? I assisted him to the ground using the minimum amount of force necessary to prevent further harm to himself and or others.
did he run into the side of the vehicle first?
I assisted him to the ground with the minimum amount of force necessary.
All right, yeah, I get it.
Mad,
Say no more.
dude, speak to an animator and make shorts of your crazy experiences. That would probably be pretty awesome.
Tell me why I'm in
I already
handcuffs.
told someone
What
to charge to
crime
get here.
or what?
Right now, all I need you to do is keep your mouth shut.
Yeah, I don't care.
Is she-
I'm not
did-
gonna do it.
Is he a import from New York? What's up with this? Like, yeah,
She's
no,
got
keep
that
your mouth
accent,
shut,
doesn't she?
right?
I don't know. Apparently, she's been there for almost 20 years. So,
Like, I used to walk a beat in Boston.
Arrest me.
You are
Yeah,
under
I
arrest.
want
Keep
to
it up,
okay,
you're
arrest
going
me.
for
You
a
are
ride in
right.
the back of my
Take me
car.
Hold on. Did she just say you're under arrest?
no, yeah, she was like, "I'll arrest you," and he's like, "Fine, arrest me." He's like, "I'd love you to arrest me."
Resisting. I am
Go
gonna
ahead,
you
take me to jail.
She's
It's
gonna
not even
arrest him for
noon.
resisting arrest. Like, so here's another thing: resisting arrest can't be the primary crime. There has to be something he was.
But
if
he's not
you're-
resisting arrest either.
Well, that's this is where I'm. All right, so Mad can help me with this because I've watched a lot of legal stuff. You can get charged with resisting, but there still has to be an underlying genuine crime for you to be
Yeah.
arrested for.
Now-
in this case, she's saying the only thing he's going to be arrested for is resisting arrest.
Well,
Obstruction.
yeah. Well,
That-
because if she did show up, and let's say that this went a different way, right? That exactly. I think that you, and then when the DA and shit, when they get a hold of it, they can do their little negotiation bullshit and knock down a couple charges, and it may just end up being the only charge that you actually have. But there was others that were dropped in the plea bargain. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and well, I agree in that case, but there's still underlying
Dude, with this body
criminal
cam
conduct.
footage,
Yeah.
You're never gonna convince anybody that he
Oh
resisted.
no!
No,
trust me,
we were
we're
speaking
gonna,
in general.
There's gonna be some fun outcomes from this body cam footage.
Well, let's see.
Oh,
Let's
boy.
keep going.
Take me to jail right now. Take me to jail.
Did he
Do
say
it.
bitch?
Do it.
I think they did, and
Do
he
it.
bleeped
I'm
it.
ready.
going to.
Okay, I'm ready. Let's go. Let's go. I'm
Just
ready.
hand me my Crocs. I'm ready to go.
Excuse me.
What's your name? What's your
Allow
name?
me to stand
What's
up
your
and
name?
No.
Negative. Doesn't work that way.
Okay. Tell me what crime I'm here for.
It's fine. Don't worry about it.
Why is he putting on these gloves?
For what crime?
Fucking Christ.
Because apparently now they're gonna finally search him.
Cool,
Yeah,
cool,
they
cool,
gotta
cool.
make sure that he doesn't have any drugs in his ass.
Okay, listen. I was a big glove guy. I always wore these. They were Kevlar lined, so you don't get stuck when you're searching somebody by a needle or whatever. I actually ended up having to use them whenever I did the NARC kit or the NIC kit, depending on which one I had, where you test to see if a substance is a drug. Because again, my supervisor said he's never heard of this happening to anyone. It happened to me twice. It's a glass capsule inside of a plastic thing. You put the drug in there and then you shake it up, blah, 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 right? And then you pop the capsule. I did it, and the glass and the capsule went through the plastic and into my fucking thumb with these chemicals and drugs on it twice. So I had to start wearing my fucking gloves I would wear whenever I dealt with people, because
Dude,
I don't like
you
touching
didn't
nasty
get
people.
like hepatitis from that?
No, I didn't. No, I didn't get anything from it, thank God. But it happened
No
twice.
shit, right?
Yeah,
So
my LT, who's been doing it for 30 years, was like, I've never heard of this happening to anyone.
So
Dude, did you start wearing like leather work gloves?
That's what I'm saying. I would have my patrol gloves that I would use, that I would wear whenever I dealt with anybody in the public, right? And it was Kevlar lined on the palm, so that in the fingertips, so that if you won't get
stuck,
poked. Yeah. But whenever I
Who
would
has
have
two
to,
thumbs and wear gloves, this guy.
but whenever I would have to deal with a medical emergency, because we'd get called out and then we're calling the ambulance or whatever, like, hey, be advised, blah blah blah,
You
right?
put the nitro gloves on top of the other gloves.
No. I would take those off and put these on. I would have black ones though, because I'm straight.
This is again Palm Gardens, Florida. Did I ever tell you? I had an uncle who was a Boston city cop.
Mhm. Oh, nice.
He had to get medically retired because
What did Costello do?
because him and his partner were going into one of the as Slender politely referred, the the public
low
housing.
income housing.
Yeah, and as they're just walking through the place that they're supposed to be searching, a 6'6" large naked homeless man
Okay. Nothing
bursts
weird
out,
about this.
bursts out, tackles him, and as they're chasing him, the guy like grabs my uncle when they finally get together and pulls him downstairs because it's one of those public housing where like right
What?
outside the units they have those stairwells,
Yeah.
and he ends up like blowing out his knee from doing this. And so he and when I talked to him, he's like, "Oh, that was just like the 20th craziest story that ever happened to me."
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's in Boston. Are you fucking kidding me? Yeah.
Oh no, he was like, Boston cops are crazy. Like we went up to visit once when I was a kid, and we broke into a golf course. This is
As
him
you do.
as the Boston cop. It was 4th of July, so he lived near a golf course. So we broke into the golf course to set off fireworks he had us bring up from down here because they were legal down here, but illegal in Massachusetts.
Oh, he's my kind of cop.
So he had us
That's what
pick
you
him
gotta
up.
do, man. You gotta go
He was
across
like,
state lines to get the good shit.
No, he told us like pick them up in Pennsylvania. They got the best shit. So
Wow.
Dude,
So
Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Virginia. If you go south, you can get south of the border. You ever been to south of the border?
that's at North Carolina, South Carolina, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
But yeah, so we're setting off like the bottle rockets, doing all this shit, and it's all blowing up till eventually, like I guess the security guard for the golf course shows up, and then he's like, "Oh, book it, we got to get the fuck out of here."
By the way, you know what? One of the contributing factors to this. Not only are they in Palm Beach Garden, this is also the day shift. These motherfuckers work in the mornings.
That's fine. What crime though?
If this was the night, if this was the night shift, you wouldn't
They
see
work
this
when
shit.
dudes are swimming laps in the pool. This
Yeah,
is-
exactly. You don't see shit like you wouldn't see cops
Secondary
respond like this at night.
Dude, they were across the
Take me
street
to
at the
jail. I'm
Starbucks
going to
eating
jail. Don't
donuts
worry
and
about
drinking
it. I got
coffee.
you.
Let's go.
There's your supervisor right
That's
there.
fine.
And look,
I'm ready. Take me.
we have another cop coming to
Oh
the scene.
my god!
Jesus.
Have you guys ever played Gauntlet? Like, I swear to God, there's a cop spawner just off
You
camera
can
here.
sit there.
I'm ready to go to jail. Take me.
You can sit
You're gonna
there.
go.
See, it's not
Is your
fun,
body
Florida.
camera on, sir?
All our body cameras are on.
Perfect.
So this motherfucker, we pull up.
So this is her talking to the supervisor now,
No.
explaining what happened.
So this motherfucker.
The other guy is so threatened by him. Right? He's standing here. All right. The other guy that called is armed.
Can you start up for a minute so I can?
This is what I'm talking about.
Stop.
I'm not gonna stop.
She's like, "This is what I'm talking about. See, supervisor,
Yeah.
I'm right. to have
I'm
done
checking out
this."
this guy's fucking gear. That is a lot of shit to have on your fucking vest. Fucking day shift.
And a lot of stomach for you to be thinking that you're ever going to use any of that.
I'm fine with the stomach thing. It's just I just
Dude, he'd get exhausted pulling one of those magazines.
I just hope he remembers which side his stun gun is on
Yeah.
versus his gun. 'Cause
Well,
that's
he's a
been the root
man.
cause
He'll remember
of a-
that much.
That is true. Was it in Oklahoma where the lady said she accidentally drew the wrong one and shot the guy?
Well,
Fruitville
I mean,
Station,
it's
wasn't
on
it?
camera.
Oh, no, that's not right.
She did it.
That's not right.
Put him in space on the
She
ground.
killed the guy, I'm pretty sure.
Stop.
Yep,
Arrest.
You are under arrest.
Okay, take me.
I got you.
Take me to jail.
I got you.
Wait, I'm sorry.
But here's
Is
the thing.
She
If you
just
really
yelled,
want
"I
him to
got
stop
you."
and you want to figure out what the hell's going on, put him in the car. Like, put him in the backseat of the squad car so you don't have
Where's
to
this
listen to
guy?
him anymore.
He is a supervisor. Maybe he doesn't. Well, he should though.
Is it on the left side there? Is that a?
I
don't
can't
see it.
actually see amongst all that.
it
sea
it
of
shouldn't be
stuff.
because he has his taser set up for left hand,
side?
right?
Or
No,
the-
Yeah.
no. It's supposed to be set up weak side. So you don't make the mistake of drawing your fucking gun when you thought you were drawing your taser.
I don't know. Let's see.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see it.
Caller calls. I guess he was doing this, harassing the out of his wife, yelling and screaming, causing a 38.
He's harassing
This one is
his
harassing.
wife.
So she's already now decided that this guy was harassing the other couple, even though that was the guy who brandished. the
Yeah,
gun
like
and
you
threatened
never
him.
interviewed anybody. How
Well,
would you know this?
you can both harass someone and that person brandishes a firearm. Those aren't mutually exclusive.
Yeah.
Yes,
Wait, the caller's wife or his wife?
his wife. The caller has a gun. This guy came at him the way he came at us, and he opened up his shirt. He came out here. Me and Strzelecki roll up.
So she's definitely fudging the circumstances.
Yeah, a
My
little
favorite
bit.
is this
Little
is all on-
hyperbole.
like this is on video now. You're gonna get in trouble if you lie. You should just be honest.
That's
well, you
not.
got
They're
15 camera angles too.
they're in panic mode right now. They're fucking spiraling.
He's got his hands in his pocket, and I
Oh
go,
yeah,
"Oh,
you
put your
nailed
hands
it
on your
because we're gonna
pocket,"
see some
right?
spiraling. in a little bit.
Dude, hold on,
And
pause
he
it,
pulls the
pause
car-
it, pause it. Did y'all see that? His hand
took-
was already out of his pocket
Yes, yeah, that was.
before
Dude,
she
as
drew
soon
the
as-
weapon.
Yep.
As soon as she instructed him to get his hands out of his pockets, he
were
reached out
already
to the
out.
sides and was like, "Look, they're out. I got nothing." Yeah, she's lying about everything.
And then she closes and tell me if this is standard, man. If she's actually in fear, she proceeds to close the gap instead of using the cover and controlling the situation.
Well,
Right,
I mean,
so-
and that's also terrible that you're using your weapon and closing distance when you're well within the effective range of that weapon already.
Well, I hate that when I see that in movies. Like they have to hand deliver bullets sometimes. That's not how guns work. Two,
yeah.
yeah, it's called a reactionary gap that you want to keep. This was actually an issue for me because being a combative instructor, I always close the distance, close the gap, because that's what we taught. That's what we learned. You know what I mean? So as a cop, it was very hard for me to adjust to trying to make space to utilize one of my tools when I would, because they did have to talk to me in the DA's office about, listen, we're not saying you shouldn't use a chokehold. What we're saying is
We're saying make sure you use the minimal amount of force
Yeah.
necessary to resolve the situation and
'Cause,
always know.
I
always
had-
Well, and
I-
this is why you
I had
work
no
in a team,
hesitance.
right?
I had no hesitance to choke a motherfucker out. I'm not, no, fuck that. This is going to be done quick.
Yeah,
But
his
this
hands
is
aren't
why
in
you
his
work
pocket.
in a team, because the person who's actually going to detain the individual, they secure their weapon while their partner stays at a reasonable distance, usually at about a 45 degree, with their weapon out and ready in case they need to engage.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's still only for a hostile situation. You
well,
know?
look, all of that is book shit. You know what I mean? Nothing ever goes like that on the street.
No,
that-
it
Put it
doesn't.
back. I said, "Keep it hands out of your pocket, and I throw
But
down on
this,
Officer
this right
Guerrero-
here,
Did you hear her?
She
She just
pulled the
said,
gun
"I
on him
threw
for
down
no
on
reason.
him." Matt, is that
Yeah,
official
yeah.
police
Drew
language?
down on him.
Yeah, bro. I
No,
remember
she said.
being-
down on
No,
him.
she said, "I threw down on him."
Oh, did she? Well, then she's dumb.
Yeah, I remember when I was testifying on a case, and they asked me, and I was like, "Oh yeah, yo, he drew his strap," so I'm like, "Yo, throw down, right?" So I grabbed my shit, no cap.
of events that are close
Dog.
to true, but are manipulated just enough to portray her actions as lawful. First, she claims that they approached Ryan
And
and that she
just
drew
enough. No.
Yeah.
her firearm because his hand was in his pocket. But what really happened is the officer drew her weapon only after Ryan told her not to talk to him so disrespectfully. 7 seconds after his hands were removed from his pocket.
7 seconds later.
Pockets for me.
So just working in auto claims when we had to deal with bodily injuries, right? We called that a nexus of time, right? Like there has to be an immediate nexus of time from one event to the other to make it causal. You know, like if in this case it was always like this car hit this car which caused this injury, so they're at fault, right? It was bam bam bam. It couldn't be this car hit this car and then 20 minutes later if the car hit another car and therefore it's at fault. This
All
is
right,
where,
Matt, listen. Chief Mad, here's what happened, okay? I had just gotten through the wardrobe, and then Mr. Tumnus came out, and he was fucking, he had his hands in his pockets. And yeah, he wears pants. He's got like a vest thing, right? So he had his hands in. I was like, Mr. Tumnus, get your goddamn hands out your fucking pockets. And he's like, I just want to give you some cocoa. So I shot that fucker.
no cap, I threw down on him.
Sir, I don't keep your hands out of your pockets. Put the
Relax.
phone
I
down.
haven't done a crime. Don't talk to me like
Listen
that.
to me. I don't know you.
Listen,
you can put
I
that
don't
down.
know you. You're the one with the gun. Why
Get down on the ground now.
Yep, there's
Get
the
down
gun coming out
She
after
then makes
he's-
up a third time as she continues to embellish her story by adding language that was never used and pretending that she was dealing with Ryan all by herself.
He goes and pulls the phone out and he goes to put it back. I said,
And it'd have 12 other police
right down on him. And he goes, where am I going to put a gun on your bathing suit? I said, I don't know you, right? So then he goes to go back in his pockets again.
By the way, that is another
heard that?
police officer coming up on the
How
scene.
would he go back in his pockets? You had handcuffed him at this point.
No, the way she said it was like, and then he got to come up with something. Then
Yeah,
he
because
went to
she's-
put his hands back in the pockets.
Do you remember
but he
the
was
negotiator?
handcuffed at
I'm
this
like, is
point.
No,
her
no,
eyes
no, this
going
is
up
before
into
that.
the left to access the creative portions of her brain? to get...
And now he's laughing, and I go, get on the ground, right? So he gets on the ground, he tosses his phone to the side, and I go, put your
Oh
hands
shit!
behind your back. So I
This
call him up, he's
motherfucker.
like, "Look at you,
Okay,
you
all right.
piece of shit."
So you're right. It was on the left hand. I guess that's
This
fine
move.
because it's if both of them were on the belt, you would have want him on opposite side. But since it's on the vest, I don't know, man. That's fine.
It's a weird setup.
I hate everything about what he's wearing.
Whatever he's got on his left hip, he cannot reach with his right arm.
I really dig.
Well,
the
yeah,
big
because
gold
that's his gun. He's
Apple Watch,
left-handed.
too.
Is
That's-
he okay? He's left. Yeah, I guess so. If he's got it on the left hip.
But I
That's
will give
way
him
back,
credit.
though.
That looks like a Blackhawk CQC level 3, which I also used. It's the best holster. I don't care what anybody
You're
says.
fine, like, just went off.
I
You
like
have
the
no right to
holsters
detain
that are
me.
down on the
He goes,
thigh, though.
resisting
I don't
arrest
like
is a,
hip
is a
holsters.
second.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
like,
that's-
what are you
that's-
talking about.
That's up to your department. Some departments will allow it, others won't. Mine wouldn't, unless it was specifically for canine. I think canine. would do
Weird.
it.
Yeah, I hate belt
So
holsters.
obviously he's amped up on something.
What?
Amped up on something.
He's the one amped up on something.
Also, I think he may be a homosexual.
Dude, he's
But
amped
when
up
he,
on
like
both
the first
cigarettes
couple
and
times when
dick.
he didn't want to
That's what
listen
he's
to me
amped
about
up
keeping his
on.
hands out of his fucking pockets, I thought it was funny. I drew down on him.
Okay.
I drew down on him. Oh yeah, yeah, Boosh. Now he's on drugs.
Yeah, he's amped up on something.
That guy.
Has anybody?
Oh,
Oh, that-
so
Fuck that guy. Okay,
that right
that's
there
good.
is not going to help you making a case against him.
sorry, not sorry. The holster you see there that he's using for, I think that's a Blackhawk CQC. I can't remember the level 3 Blackhawk. It has a hood, and when you put your when you draw it, right, you have the finger release for the trigger guard, and you also have a thumb break that pops the hood. But so you put your hand down, as you would normally and draw it. It's a lot better than that Raptor holster everybody used because it had some weird thing you had to do with your ring finger to release the weapon.
Or was that
Yeah.
one designed so perpetrators couldn't get the gun out of your holster?
Well,
easily?
yeah, that's what level 3s are for. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. We had the hard plastic shell with the button that you had to push while pulling, and you had to do like a twist thing.
Yeah.
Weird twisty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bush over here, he was non-compliant, had a gun, called her swear words, and is on drugs. So, that escalated quickly according to her
He
description.
also said he was gonna fuck my husband, and I was like, I don't appreciate that.
Spoiler alert: she don't got a husband, but she's got.
Oh,
a
of
partner.
course she doesn't.
Out. Joe went running out. I'm over here literally by myself with this.
Did you hear? Her?
Literally by myself.
She was never by herself with this guy. Not once.
Literally by myself with this guy.
The minimum was one other officer, and within a matter of moments, it was 3-4 other officers. So,
guy.
All right. Are you okay to go talk to her?
Yes.
all right. So I am now intercutting. So that was the end of the lackluster video. This is video from the actual guy who got arrested.
Wait. These useless pigs had
Yeah,
access to the
No,
cameras,
they didn't.
but didn't watch what actually happened.
No, they didn't
So-
have access to the cameras.
So, all right. So now this is, my editing. So I pulled in because this wasn't in the other footage. For some reason, the other guy wouldn't use it. This was from the guy who got arrested. He went to the, community apartment people and got the footage from the office where the cameras on the pool were.
Okay.
And this is where that footage I showed.
So he
where
did their job for them.
Yeah, but you saw the footage where you could clearly see the other guy brandishing the gun to threaten him.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the part where they actually watch it, and you can see what happens when this officer sees what actually happened, and that she's in some deep shit now, because it gets funny. So they're now getting all together, and you see him watching the screen where the security footage is.
Oh my god.
Dude, is that her?
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh my god.
Now wait, so now they've watched the
Wait,
footage.
can you
and
pause
they-
it real quick?
Yep.
Look at how many motherfuckers are in this office.
What
Yep.
else are they gonna do? Who's that guy in the freaking not even wearing a uniform?
Well, that's because
That's the guy that
community-
owns the place.
That's the
Is that Boss Hog?
Yeah, that's the community pool manager dude. who
Yeah,
has
this is at the community pool center where they were.
Yeah.
This
Yeah,
isn't
so
at the station.
yeah, so
Wow.
that dude in the chair is just the guy who opened up the office so they could look at the security feed.
I love the sergeant
she
that
was
shows
all
up
alone
and just
here.
having fun and shit, just laughing. He's like, "Yeah, I'm just hanging out. I was in the area.
So
What of it?"
clearly the entire day shift of this police department has shown up at this event. Now, do you
Fucking
see
hate
her
day
face though?
shift.
A second ago we saw her looking at the security footage, and now do you see what her face looks like? Oh
Yeah, pull it
shit.
back a couple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
she stepped back too. Did you notice that?
All right, so there's
She's
her
all
watching.
up in there, and then
There's
she
her all up
steps out.
watching the actual footage of the incident, and,
And
then
then-
after they see it, look at her. She's like, "Oh fuck," and you can see she's just getting worse. So this, by the way, is a 20-year veteran of this police department, and she is about to have a full-on panic attack in this room.
Holy shit! She is sweating. Look at her.
Yep. Do you see her like?
Well, you notice that as soon as it started going wrong, she stepped back away from the screen. She's not even looking at the screen anymore because she wants that plausible deniability. If I didn't see it, it didn't happen. Like, it's
Okay.
going real wrong for her.
Oh, real quick. Calm the fuck down. It was 11:30 a.m. You had a fucking bathing suit on. You were not naked and on hot asphalt in the August heat in Florida. You know what I mean? It's 11:30. Yes, it's
Yeah,
hot, but it's
I
a
almost-
humidity heat.
I almost tried to. I couldn't figure out how to I didn't have the AI to try to pull the text he put into his video out. But look at her. She's
I'm glad to see her.
deteriorating fast. Look, now she's like, oh no, I have to stay. Like, here, sit down, take a breather, because she's starting to go. Look at her. She's.
Also, 20 years and you're still just a police officer. There's a reason.
Yeah, well, that's as high as you're ever gonna go.
Look at this shit. She's now like full on like taking her pulse, checking things. And
Then taken away in an ambulance.
they went,
Also,
yeah, they went and got her water.
also, just check out the sergeant in the back, not giving a fuck. It's on Twitter.
Yep.
It's like whatever.
Oh look, now they have to take off the big vest.
What, her vest and belt? What the fuck?
She's,
See what I'm saying? See?
She's
God.
going into full, like she knew,
Yeah,
and I think
I'm
this is
sorry, like not qualified to be an officer. Clearly.
No, listen. Here, my biggest problem is with the men. My
Look at her,
biggest
like-
Babying her, treating her like she's not a fucking police officer.
Do you see the sergeant finally got up and he's like, "Oh, come on."
Here, let me give you a fucking. Let me rub your shoulders. And it's not even as.
Which is so unprofessional.
It's not even as if they are doing it in the way like, oh, maybe I'll get laid. It's just this innate thing that men have to take care of women, regardless.
Are you talking about the genuine case of white knight syndrome?
Yes.
It does nobody any good. Treat her like shit, like you would a man.
Oh no, here's preview of things to come. After they do all this while she's having the thing, she throws them all under the fucking bus when
Of
shit hits
course.
the fan for her.
Oh, she's
Every
a woman.
single
Of
one
course
of
she
them.
would.
All right, so now we have the medic, and they're taking her out, and then you'll see her on the gurney going out.
Like, I'm
Here
not
you-
saying that this is something every woman would do, but she has clearly been taking
I'll say
advantage
it.
of their kindness for 20 years now.
So there is
Yep.
the officer being hauled out on a gurney. Jeez.
Where's your helmet? You better watch out. She'll draw on you.
Well,
Yeah,
I
it's
don't know.
about
Are there
3
helmet
seconds
laws in
after
Florida?
that.
All right, so now the next edit here is where she is now being in disciplinary action. So we have the lawyers questioning her,
Why?
and her union rep is her defense attorney. So it gets pretty funny.
Takes his phone out of his pocket.
Mm-hmm.
From that point on, you're still advancing towards him,
Correct.
and
Oh, wow.
he
She's
makes
got a
no
really
attempt
different
after that
demeanor
to reach
right now,
back into
doesn't
his
she?
pockets.
I'm not the one with the gun.
Sir, I don't keep your hands out of your pockets. Put the
Relax.
phone
I
down.
haven't done a crime. Don't talk to me like
Listen
that.
to me. I don't know you.
Listen,
You can put
I
that
don't
down.
know you. You're the one with the gun. Why
Get down on the ground now. Get down on the ground.
He has his phone in his hand,
He has his phone in his hand,
out to his side.
out to his side.
Yeah, this wasn't a bomb
Wait.
threat.
At that
like,
point,
Why is she just repeating everything? Oh, go on.
was listening to my commands, but then once I had gotten him handcuffed, he's still verbally resisting because he immediately went to stand back
Verbally
up.
Is
resisting.
that's actually something I wanted to ask you about, Matt. Is that an official
No.
thing? Can
No.
you verbally resist?
no.
No.
You can be verbal.
You can passively resist, meaning you're not actively fighting, but you're resisting when
It's
you're trying to
where
put
you
somebody.
go boneless. Like, you refuse to fucking stand up when they try
The
to stand
opposite.
you up. You keep trying to fall down. Like,
I was actually referring to the opposite, where you're
well,
trying
that's
to
passive
handcuff.
resistance, right?
So yes, and so is when you're trying to handcuff somebody. They're just tensed up, and they're not actively. I mean, they're not. It's passive because if you look at it from the outview,
They're
this
not
always
aggressive.
happens.
They're
Right.
not
If you look
attacking
at
you,
it
they're
from,
not trying to hurt you. They're just trying
from-
to
Matt,
stop.
if I yell mean words at you, will you fall over?
you'll fall
Yes.
over after I put bullets in your ass.
Oh,
So-
damn.
He verbally resisted.
He was verbal, so I put
Who's
him down.
take your hands out of your pockets?
So
But
that's-
anyways,
yeah.
why so many people will always claim brutality or whatever, like, he wasn't even resisting. No, he was. You don't know. You can't tell on video that the guy is fucking tensing up his muscles and refusing to cooperate with the movement that the officer is trying to apply.
Okay, but just for the record, this dude who was sitting there just asking why he was being arrested and verbally resisting is not actually something
it's-
you would
no,
write
that's
on
not
your
a thing.
report.
No, I mean,
Right, okay,
And I needed him
but
seated.
before we get to him being handcuffed, so
This lawyer's so annoying.
you order him to keep his hands from his pockets.
Yes.
He takes his hand, takes his phone out. He's holding it
Who-
to the side.
He didn't listen to the first command.
Okay. From that
then you're good.
point
But
to the
he
time
did
you
listen
drew
to
your
the
gun
first
up,
command.
8 seconds.
Okay.
In that 8 seconds, he did not reach for his pockets. You didn't give him any additional commands.
I told him at least twice to keep his hands out of his pockets after the initial drop, which, again, I saw from as I was pulling up. I could see this. He dropped his hands, and as I'm getting out, I got out rather quickly because of the initial hand drop, which is why I greeted him with, "Hey, man, keep your hands out."
What in the
The
hell is she
initial
saying?
hand drop.
Well, I don't know if you know this, but like real life is like a video game. We all walk around T-posing all the time, right? Like hands in the air, straight out to the side.
Who's the one questioning her?
So this is the I believe if I looked at it's a representative of the district
Okay, I didn't know if it. Okay, I didn't know
So-
if it was her rep that was doing it. Like
no,
cross-
this is the rep that talks. The rep asks like 3 questions at the
Okay,
very end
all right.
just to try to
That's what I was
rehab her.
asking.
This is
Okay.
this would effectively be the prosecution if
Got
you were
it.
like
Got it. Yeah.
So he's
Dude,
trying
that
to
sigh was fucking beautiful, though, wasn't it?
yeah.
Out of your pockets, because I saw that pulling up.
Right?
And again, I don't know who this person is yet. I had no idea who anybody was. My job
Yeah, you did.
at that point is to keep everybody safe, including him.
Keep everyone safe by drawing
Yes.
my weapon.
Yes.
Look at the way she's keeping him safe.
You feel safe now, sir?
I can't. The only thing I wish I had is a clear shot of if she was being trigger disciplined or if she had her finger actually on. the
It
trigger.
doesn't look like it.
No, yeah,
Did
no.
they-
It looks like her finger's good. That is outside the well.
Well, yeah, you can't see it on this side,
So
so it
when
probably
you-
is.
Initially greet him.
That's
you gave
quite an
him
initial
an order
greeting.
to keep his hands from his pockets.
Yes.
One time.
One time. And then he
3 seconds later, he takes his phone out.
goes back into his pockets to retrieve the phone, at which point I said, "Hey, I told you to keep your hands out of your pockets," and I drew down on him because, again, I don't know where
He's
this
still
gun is
saying
at.
this?
Never went back to his pockets.
Wait, but she's
I
still saying I drew down on him.
him. Like this is the old west, and she's just lawman, Wyatt Earp.
He looked at me. He said, and I said, "Well, are you gonna pull that pistol? Are you gonna pull that pigskin?" Wait, what is
Yeah,
God
well,
dang it?
No, she's
And
like he looked
again-
at me. He looked at me, and so I said, "You called down the thunder. Well, now you got it."
Yeah, you got the movie that I was referencing, but I can't remember.
Again, as Mad mentioned very early on in this video, like she is not in any way eloquating a proper escalation of force.
Wait, here's
like
how she
it
was
went
approaching.
from, "Hey, I was pulling up on the place, and as I was parking, it looked like his hands were at his sides," which
No.
I thought was really weird for human beings because usually our hands never go to
No.
our sides.
His
So
hands
I
were out.
jumped out the car and pointed a gun at him.
No, his hands were at his side, so I immediately came out and did this.
You called down the thunder. Well, now you got it.
You should never drop your hands. Have you not heard of hands up, don't shoot? Well, your hands were down.
So we have 8 seconds in between when he took his phone out of his pocket and when you drew down on him.
Okay.
And in those 8 seconds,
Okay, we're all
the phone
just
was
gonna
out of his-
use it.
She's just
Fuck
like,
it, it's
okay.
Florida. Maybe that is the legal term for drawing your weapon as a police officer. Is to draw down on a
He made no
motherfucker.
other attempt to go back into his pocket. Right?
Oh man,
From
Smokey
my
is getting
vantage point,
heated on this one. Look at this. The rage I get when hearing people clearly lying about what happened is the same as Slender when he gets interrupted from getting rid of the lights. Oh, that's a good one.
Smokey,
What-
you don't understand the depth of that rage.
I saw his hands drop. I don't know what else he's going for. I don't know.
When did you see his hands drop?
So from my vantage point, before I even got out of the car, I saw this. I saw both hands disappear, which prompted me to say what I initially
Disappear?
said to him.
Right.
And then as he disobeys that command, and
What-
goes
what do you
back
think?
into
He
his
saw you
pocket
coming,
again
so
and
he
pulls
shelved
out
the
phone. He's
firearm?
now saying to me, "Well, I'm not the one with the gun. I don't know you. I don't know who anybody is at this point. I'm trying to secure a scene."
Right.
A scene that's
my
already
focus
secured.
at that point, and it's never easy when you know that there is a gun out there. That is the knowledge and mindset that I had at that moment.
You
There
know
is
who
a
had the gun.
unsecured, because I did not know any
It-
other information.
But we
Jesus.
know that she did.
We know that she did, yes. And this is what the thing that she's clearly been coached to try to, because there are legal protections for police officers.
Yep.
Who, even when they're wrong, if they were acting
In good faith.
under their good faith, judgment. And I
Absolutely.
think you can clearly hear how she's been coached.
No, and I think those laws are a good thing. I think those protections, we kind of need them.
Yeah,
Right,
but,
because
you
well,
gotta have
it comes down to, you got to look at the totality of the situation, right? You can't Monday quarterback these kind of things. You have to look at it. What would a reasonable person, what a reasonable person would have done in that situation, given the same information available at that time?
yeah.
Dude, God help that guy if there would have been any acorns on the scene.
Small Town
No.
Republic, the Crocs were the dudes.
Yeah,
They
it
were
was the
next to
dudes,
his
man.
feet when he was getting put on the ground.
I was hoping they were
As far as
hers.
what Officer Valerio, who he talked to, who was actually the suspect. And I'm still keeping an eye on what that object was over there. I don't know if he's going
It's
to
a
try
towel.
to run back to that. I don't know.
That
I just have to
object.
But he
keep
didn't
him
give
on
you
the
any
ground.
indication that he was going to run for that or make any
I didn't
move
give
for
him
that.
enough time to do that, though.
Right. Because
Yeah,
after he took
'cause
his
you
phone
were
out of
just
his
so on
pockets,
top of
8
the
seconds later,
situation.
you drew your gun at him and ordered him to the ground.
I did.
So you agree, though, that from the time he took his phone out of his pocket, he didn't defy your commands after that. He didn't make an attempt to reach back into his pockets.
I was attempting to control the scene to make
That's not
it
what
safe
he
and
asked.
get him secured.
Okay. It was
I
your
hate
belief
when they
he
do
could have
that.
been
It's
armed,
like
He
you
could
don't
have been,
ask
yes.
the question
and you
because
felt that
you
he
know
wasn't
the
following
answer
your
is bad for
commands.
you.
So you
So
felt
you
the
just
need
keep
to
saying dumb shit.
draw your weapon.
Correct.
You walked past the patrol car on your way towards Mr. Gould.
That was Valerio's truck, I
Right.
believe, yes.
Didn't consider to use that as cover if you thought Mr. Gould was armed.
Well,
Ooh, we're addressing the point Matt was making where he got some coaching on doing the same thing.
Well,
I
and
did
here's where
initially.
the
I was
problem
hanging
is,
out
right? Like
towards
here's
the
the
front
break.
of that portion of the truck.
You match the
You know, that was
intensity
my initial
based on what
approach,
you're
and
dealing
then once
with.
I was able to draw down and continue to advance,
The
once
escalation of
I
force
had this here, he
happens
got
when
down
you
on the
can't
ground, and I was able
reasonably
to handcuff
employ-
him.
I can't
didn't
listen to both of y'all.
readily move.
Yeah, pause it for a second. Like the escalation of force only continues if you are unable to gain compliance. She told him to take his hands out of his pockets. He took his hands out of his pockets. That's the second tier on the escalation of force, which is verbal commands. Verbal commands were working on this guy. You didn't need to do any of the other shit because the verbal commands were working.
Agreed.
Move from that area. Yes, I'm getting out of the car. I'm not sitting there when someone's trying to walk up on me. I don't know.
Walk
He was
up on you.
apparently- he was
He
like-
stood there.
She's trying
Yeah,
to make it sound like
he
he's
looked
some.
like anyone who would call the police when they show up. He's like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're here. I'm
What-
so
yeah,
glad
but-
you're here. I called you."
Well, part of the problem is they were already there.
Yeah, no shit, right?
Who you are yet.
I just love this view. Look at the anger in her face as she's walking towards.
What I don't understand is in your mind, you're going to a scene where officers are already there, right? And you see someone stand up and you act like, why would, and you're like, oh, I felt threatened my life. I felt scared for my life. Why? Why would he specifically target you and not the other police officers already there?
Or the other officer standing 8 inches from her. Like, look,
Who is way bigger? So why isn't he moving up on the suspect?
Because he
why
doesn't
is
ha-
she doing it?
Because he doesn't have to try to compensate for not being physically able to
'Cause I
handle
had no
this
clue
job.
that this guy
I
was
guess not.
a victim, potential
oh,
victim.
look, do you see, like, he's just strolling, then he sees her draw her gun, and then he's like, oh shit, I guess I better take out my taser.
Look at
I
his
don't
face. You
think
can
he ever
even
draws a
see the.
weapon.
I'm pretty sure he's rolling
draws
his eyes.
his
He throws
taser,
his
yeah.
taser.
I
I'm pretty
had
sure
no
you can see
idea.
him rolling his
At the
eyes as he
time.
does
At the
it.
time.
But
Oh,
throughout
yeah, he
that
did get his
initial
taser.
11 seconds or so interaction, you continue to walk towards him. You advance towards him the entire time.
Yes.
Because he's on the ground, I can see
Right.
where his hands are, and then I reholster.
Not
so
when
that
he's
I
on the
can-
ground. Not when he's on the ground. From the time you get out of your car to the time you made physical contact with him and handcuffed him, you advance towards him the entire time.
Okay.
So there was
Okay.
no pause behind cover. There was no using a vehicle for cover. That's what I'm asking. You felt that he was armed and posed a threat that you needed to escalate
Yeah, you were
to deadly
comfortable
force,
enough
but you
walking
walked
up
past
on
the
him.
vehicle where you had an opportunity to get cover, but you didn't.
That's
correct?
way too close.
I mean, yeah, but
Like, he could
again,
reach
like I
out and
said,
grab the gun at that
in my
distance.
mindset at the time, like that's nerve-wracking. That's uncomfortable. I'm trying.
Okay,
In my-
if your nerves are keeping you from getting cover when you think you're going to get shot, you're in the wrong profession.
Yes, and if your nerves are so frayed right now, why are you putting the gun in range of him? Why are you putting it in his reach?
For double damage, for a critical hit.
Yeah, that's
No.
how that works.
You know, it makes me, you know, if we rewind and we're thinking, remember when he was like, "What's wrong with you? If you're this scared of a guy in a bathing suit, maybe you shouldn't be a cop."
Yep.
Her answers into these questions are basically reinforcing it. It's saying, I mean, it's exactly what he was saying to her, and she was getting so pissed off about is
Yeah,
what she's
but
answering
he said it.
to this guy.
Yeah, but that was all lost in his gayness. If he would have said it in a straight way, it may have resonated more for her.
What if he had been
Yeah,
a
because what
trans-
she keeps hearing is a woman being catty with her. And she doesn't like that one bit because she hates women.
That's exactly what it is.
And I'm sure Mad knows this, but statistically, the group with the highest rate of domestic violence
Oh, we all know who that
is
group
lesbian women.
The
Yep.
L's take it.
It is like and it's not even close. They're like triple the rates of other
Oh yeah, it's
groups.
far and away.
I think actually, I think the only one that could probably, because husbands, vast majority of times will never report when they are being domestically abused. Right, so you don't really have the statistics to see whether or not husbands.
Do you
would-
remember it
would
was
Okay,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say it was Tawny Katane she was married to a Major League Baseball pitcher, and she beat him with a frying pan, and so he actually called the police, and then he became the joke
Exactly.
that he let Tawny Katane beat him up.
Which
and
is
it was-
exactly what we've been taught our entire lives. Don't hit a woman. Don't fight a woman. You know what I mean? So when you're being attacked by a woman, your head like, fuck, I can't hit her. She's a chick. I'm just going to have to wait, call the police, and handle it legally. What a bitch. You let her hit you? What the fuck? What? And you know what I mean? And if he would have responded and knocked the shit out of her, he's a pitcher. He's a pitcher, never mind. Anyway, what if it was an athlete that this happened to and he decided to hit her back? You know, he would be the bad guy.
It was Chuck Finley, by the way.
Especially once those elevator doors open.
Trying to do the best that I can at that point to make a scene secure. You know, I'm not saying that the last thing I'm thinking about is cover, but I'm trying to prevent an incident.
She's the hero. Did you
or
know that,
potential
Matt?
incident.
She's the hero.
Of course.
So
Protecting the
you
world.
handcuffed him, Mr. Gould.
I did.
At any time, because it's not clearly visible on video, was he searched?
Oh, shit.
At that time, no.
What?
Why not?
What did I miss?
Oh, shit. He goes, okay, now you have him in handcuffs. Was he searched? He goes, at that time, no.
No, he was never searched.
No,
She was
which
too
would
busy
be-
arguing with him.
If you were worried he had something in his pockets, that would
Yep.
be why you would immediately search him, right? To take the weapon away from his person.
Well, and
Yeah.
I mean, I looked at the way she cuffed him too, and I'm like, damn, you did not maintain
She's
very
sloppy
good
as
control of
fuck.
that situation. Yeah.
She's lucky that this guy was being compliant with her. I
Oh
mean,
yeah, because if he'd have tried to buck with the way she was standing, he could have easily taken her to the ground. And
No.
it would have been over. She'd have been
Now,
done.
of course, there was another officer at the scene, but it's just a good example.
Well, what's he gonna do? Tase the guy? Then they're both tased.
Well, that's gonna her cost of learning that lesson, I guess. Probably, I don't know. I
Somebody
feel
should have
like
told her not to sing at karaoke. That's all I'm saying.
Again, I was still trying to maintain some type of control because he was so verbally aggressive. I understand he was handcuffed at that time.
Dude, this is
However,
the problem with bitches
he
like
was
this, though.
attempting
They
to
think
stand
that
up, and I
control
needed
means
him to
yell
see
at
that he was
everybody until they
considerably
do what I say.
Right, because that's the only way that they know how to express the authority that they think they have, right? Is through the loudness rather than a presence. I've always said this and I stand by it. You don't a gangster doesn't have to tell me he's a gangster. You know it. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Was
gangsters
the
don't
line.
commit suicide.
No, that was pimps.
Yeah, pimps don't commit. Gangsters do it all the time. No, what
Oh,
I'm
do they?
saying
Was
Sorry.
the line from Game of Thrones with Tyrion is like the real king doesn't have to go around telling
Right.
everybody he's the king.
Exactly. Yeah. And when you see someone, when you come across somebody that is a legit fucking evil motherfucker,
They
you
don't want
know it.
attention. They
No,
don't
but
want-
no,
yeah.
you know it
Yeah.
though. You know it. We picked up some dudes. This guy is San Antonio, white suit in white alligator fucking boots and a white cowboy hat. He was cartel like a motherfucker, and I've never.
Wait, you
in-
arrested Gator? And
Kind
did
of,
you-
yeah. No, I was in
Gators
Texas.
bitches better
Yeah.
be wearing Jimmy's.
No, I was in Texas. This was El Gatoro. Anyways,
El what
El
El
Gato?
Gatoro.
El Gator.
Anyway, listen, I have been around some pretty bad people. Like Baghdad was full of some, you know what I mean? And for the most part, back in the States, these are all off-brand gangsters that you're dealing with, you know, people that are running around thinking there's something. That motherfucker, I've never had that feeling of like, oh, that's evil. I can't even really describe what it was like, just his aura around
but
him.
you felt his presence because he didn't think he was something.
Abso-fucking-lutely.
He didn't say he was something.
Never said
You
a
knew
fucking
he was
word.
something.
Yeah, he never said a fucking word, dude.
Well,
Taller than me, and at that point, I
it's
needed
that
him.
old toxic masculinity is what they call it now. But it's like, a real man doesn't have to demonstrate his strength, doesn't have to demonstrate his ability to handle the situation. He knows he can, and if he needs to, he will leverage that ability. It's that simple. But nowadays,
We're
you
sitting on
got
the
all these
ground. I
people
don't
who are
know
like,
why
no,
his
I'm
initial
an
reaction
authority
was to-
figure. I'm in charge. You have to do what I say. No, you're not exuding control by doing that. You're
It's like-
you're pitching a fucking fit.
Officer, was it when you saw his painted toenails that you really got upset with him? Because you
Yeah.
managed to mention that a couple more times. Like, this dude.
Want to get up or verbalize to me, I'm going to stand up. No, I'm
Verbalize
still
you?
trying to take control of my situation.
Right,
You've
so he
been
was laying on the
verbalized.
ground, and he was handcuffed.
Correct. And I rolled him
And
over
you rolled him over, and you instructed him to sit up.
to sit up.
Sit up. I understand that he obviously didn't, for whatever reason, whether it was intentional or misunderstanding, he went to stand up.
Right, and I said, have a seat on the
Right.
ground.
I called you guys for help because this guy's brandishing
I don't think that's
a
what
gun.
she said, but we'll hear.
Sit
Sit
down.
up.
I didn't say get up. I said sit out.
Who is this? Where's your supervisor?
I'm getting one.
I noticed that when she was talking to the attorney, she seemed like she said it a lot more calmly.
Right? She said it like, and then I said, "Sir, if you do not mind, can you please
Yeah.
return
Take a
to
seat,
se-
sir. I'm
return
instructing
to a
you to
seated
take a seat.
position." What we would call crisscross applesauce, but without the cross of a hand.
She's talking. I haven't done anything.
But you said that he was trying to get up. You didn't search him because you're trying to control him. But he wasn't trying to get up until you rolled him over and told him to sit up.
Right, so he was listening to that command, but
But
But that always instills confidence.
Did you could almost hear her brain misfire when he asked the question, like,
and he's not even that good. He's mediocre at best. She could have been, oh man, whatever.
Dude, I keep hoping that he's kind of doing like the Columbo thing.
Oh, just one more
more
thing.
Just
Are
one
you a
more
lesbian?
question.
I needed him rolled over. I no longer wanted him on his stomach. I needed him to sit up. Okay, I don't.
Why?
Again, I don't know this person. I don't know if he's taken something before. If there could be.
Oh.
drugs.
this is back to the, where he's like, she's like, I smelled marijuana on his
Wait,
person.
when did she never said that?
Not the marijuana, I'm making a joke.
No,
she
said
She
he might
told
be
the
amped up
supervisor
on
that he said
something.
he
Yeah,
seemed
yeah.
amped up and on something.
If you
drugs or
told me,
alcohol on board, it wouldn't be out of the realm with, individuals we have to deal with. And
Do you
in
see
my mind,
her
I'm
it's
trying to
11:30 in the
do
fucking
best
morning,
checklist
bro.
I can.
Do you see like her body language and the way she's like convulsing as she yells at him?
Yeah,
Just-
she wants to beat the shit out of this guy.
It's 11:30 in the morning. He
Under
was
the
swimming.
stress that I was put under at that time to try to make a scene safe.
Okay. What I'm trying to understand, though, is
You-
you felt that he
Pause.
Mad,
This
when
is
you
a
have like
Shredder
5 other
situation.
cops with you, do you have a lot of stress to make the scene safe from one guy in a bathing suit?
No,
Well, if the other 4 are like her, yes.
Mad, you have to bring this up with Shredder at some point, because this woman got out of the police vehicle and she sensed this man's joy, and she got angry.
Look at this gay with his nails, thinking
Look
he's
at how
all
happy
cute.
he is.
I bet his parents even like him. I bet he's respected by the other members of this community.
They
I
probably accept his lifestyle choices.
I bet a lot of gay men in Palm Beach are very fond of his painted toenails.
I can't even see my toes.
posed a threat
Haven't seen him in
to you.
years.
There's a gun involved in the call. You don't know that he's the one with the
The only thing we have in common is going to the same barber.
You motherfucker, you know she does that herself.
gun or not. You draw your weapon on him and order him to the ground because
No,
there's
she
a
didn't draw the
likelihood
weapon,
you
she
believe that
threw
he
down.
is armed.
Or somebody or something, yes.
Oh my
I
God,
do.
there's so much.
Well,
Pause it again.
I would
Pause it
imagine
again.
it's him.
This is the other thing that we haven't even brought up, Matt. This is Florida, right? Like,
Yes.
Carrying a gun around isn't illegal. Brandishing it, yes, it is. But like, it's not like she came to this scene.
Are they
with,
open
like,
carry?
Shots fired.
I believe Florida is a constitutional open carry state.
Yeah, like
But this was a couple years back, so that was a new law.
Okay.
So, and here's the other thing, though, Slender, and this is where I think that Mad might go. Even so, regardless of what the state laws are for allowing a firearm on a person, a police officer has the right to safety and security when they're responding to a scene.
Yeah.
One of the things, like when I did my concealed carry training, was learning about how to put officers at ease with your right, but even during a
this is
traffic
my
stop,
point.
you should like put your hands up in clearly visible area and inform the officer,
Oh,
like, I'm
you're
carrying at
getting
3,
way off
I'm
topic
carrying
though,
at like
Will
4
Chad.
o'clock.
You're getting way off topic. My point is, this wasn't a hostile altercation where shots were fired. She's coming in like it's a hot scene. It's not. Somebody called and said, "Hey,
already
this guy
secure.
showed me a gun."
Yeah, by the way, here, just real quick, I want to give everybody a little piece of advice. If you ever get pulled over, this is what I would do, even when I was a cop. If you get pulled over, roll down all your windows. I had a sunroof, so it makes sense then. But all your windows, turn your interior light on, have your license and your insurance already in your hands, put both hands on the steering wheel, have your head down in a submissive fashion. So that when they come up, but I did this when I got pulled over. I was on my way to work one time. So I was speeding like a mother. I had an Audi. I was fucking flying, and he pulled me over. And he walks up. He goes, "What the fuck are you doing? Try not to get shot. I don't know you."
Yeah.
That's I got one of those document holders that goes on the visor, so
Yep.
that when I'm reaching for it, it's going to be reaching up above my head to a document holder. So
If-
that I'm not going to be looking like I'm going to a glove compartment or going to something that is a problem.
By the way, you are a piece of shit and an idiot if you don't already have your license and your insurance out when they approach your car. You know what I mean?
well,
you know you're
in my
pulled
wallet,
over.
It's in my pocket. I got to get things out of that. I have to get out. Yeah, I'm
Right.
gonna-
Cool. Do
I've
that.
always look, Matt. I've always
No, I'm not talking
5
about
times
you.
I've had it. I know. I'm just
Chad, I'm talking about when you pull up and they're like acting as though like it's a surprise that they're now at your window. They're like, "Oh, what do you need?" You know what? Why
Yeah.
didn't?
Dude,
So
as soon as
now,
you got pulled over, the first thing you do is before they even get out of their vehicle is you take your wallet out and you put it up on the fucking dash.
okay.
well,
so,
yeah, well, because they're gonna be running your 2.8 and shit. So
Yeah.
they're,
Yeah,
it's
they're
not as if they're
come
gonna
up
pop
right
out.
away.
Yeah.
The other video that I had, if we got through this one quicker, but I think we'll save it for another week, is the end
yes.
result of someone not having their documents ready and what the officer determined was a timely fashion and how it went south as a result. So,
All right, let's try to speed through this, man. I didn't know we've already been doing this for 2 hours.
Because somebody else is armed, there's no need to.
no,
Right.
that's how long
Yeah.
our show's
Correct.
been
He was
going.
the
This
only
part
one
hasn't
right
been
there
too
and
long.
not in
Yeah, I know,
area.
3 hours.
So the individual that you point your weapon at and then handcuff because you believe is armed.
Look at
is
her just
prone down on
yelling
the
and
ground,
angry, man.
and
This is not a
he's
person
never
who should be a
searched.
police officer.
Okay.
Correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay. In the conversation that followed, now he's handcuffed. He makes an attempt to get up. He sits
Would you
back
like
down.
to me to skip ahead to the more juicy parts beyond
Yeah,
just
please.
rehashing
Do you
this?
believe you?
Yeah, please, because I
You recall the things he was
need a
yelling?
smoke.
Just
You directed.
Let's get to...
Okay, when was the second time you told him?
when he
He never made a second attempt. After he took the phone out, he never went back into his pocket.
I don't know what that was until it was
Understood.
produced.
That's understood. I'm asking, but that's the basis for the arrest for 84302.
Yes.
Okay. Moving forward to the comments that we discussed, right? Mocking his toenails, calling him a punk, etc. Would you agree that that is not professional behavior?
I would agree, yes. I'm not going to dispute that at all.
Okay. Okay. Is there anything I failed to ask you that you would like to add to the statement?
Here we go.
Could I?
Absolutely.
Yeah, this is her what she needs to add. This is
Obviously, I
victimhood
had
101.
reviewed thoroughly everything that was presented to me, to include listening to the statements that were provided by Sergeant Glass, Sergeant Beef, Officer Strzelecki, and Officer Valerio. I had taken note in Sergeant Beef's
His name is
statement
Sergeant Beast?
that,
Apparently.
Awesome name.
he had come to the hospital.
Okay, yeah, so just to give you context, after she's taken through her medical emergency, she's no longer on the scene. The sergeants who are all there review the tape of like what happened at the pool and all this shit, and they get together and have a powwow like, oh shit, we need to unarrest this dude. He's our victim. We need then, and what's her name shit the bed. This is terrible. Like, this is in their, like, I didn't put it in the video, but they gave statements too where basically this is their conversation where after she was gone, they're like, they go to the county jail and let him out. They just basically
They took him to county?
Yes, they did.
Well, he said he was ready to go to jail.
Yeah, so they took him to jail and he was there for 4 hours before they let him out. So,
Wow.
but, and so now after all of that, the sergeant then goes to her in the hospital to kind of let her know what the situation is.
What is the situation? You're on leave?
Yes,
Until further notice?
yeah, so that's what she's going to start complaining about here.
Several hours after I had been there, and it was already.
The rest of the interview has various redactions. Up to today, they have refused to produce a single record for me. This audio was obtained by Solo Yacker, and the written report was given to me by a reporter with the Palm Beach Post, Miss Hannah Phillips. The
Damn,
videos
just
are
throwing
from
everybody
Ryan
out there.
and other sources. I have since sent a final request for all records.
Because Florida
and
has
if they
the
are not
sunshine
released,
law, they're
I will
supposed to give
pursue
all
civil
this stuff
action
up
against the
immediately.
agency. However, from the report, Sergeant Beef met Brittany at the hospital, where
Beef.
she asked who
Beef.
took Ryan to jail. She was told that Officer Strzelecki did, and replied, "Good. That guy needed to go to jail." But Sergeant Beef told her, no, he didn't, and that he had taken Ryan home. It then appears that Bethany was told how much trouble she was in because of this ridiculous incident.
I couldn't help but notice when he was talking about the potential discipline that I could be sustaining from this incident. He had also taken the opportunity to let me know that Mr. Gould had been unarrested. I was not
Unarrested?
of that, and you know, I was.
How about
surprised.
released? Released probably would have
I
worked.
was surprised he was unarrested, like, or let go. Like, really? You're surprised? You didn't think
20
that
years,
over?
everybody. 20
If
years.
I'd have conducted a
When
more
he
thorough
realized-
search, perhaps I'd have found the Uno reverse card in his swim trunks.
He was making the statement that he was speaking to me in the hospital about those issues of what I consider to be a sensitive matter, especially when it's concerning discipline in a public emergency room. There was 2 other officers and my spouse there while he was saying these things.
Here's where we go full victim, right? Because you see how she mentioned her spouse was there. She's gonna
The
use that.
audio is redacted again.
To listen to potential disciplinary actions that are going to be taken against me, in front of her and 2 other officers, to include the woman who was to
Oh,
the
her
left
spouse is
with
a
a
her
curtain
too?
drawn, who recognized his voice and called out
What?
his name, Dennis, was enough for me
How
to know that
small?
that is able to be heard.
How small is this fucking town where some rando that's in the bed next to this cop knows the voice of their supervisor?
Yep. So
Is that you, Dennis? Who you yelling at over there? Is it Ted Dyke? Just go on.
This was the feud between the L's and the G's, man.
By everybody there that was there.
yes, Boosh, she's crying now.
So when I did ask him, as my supervisor and someone I've known for 20 years, what's going to happen? What's
Okay.
going on?
Did you hear her? She
Do
said,
I not-
asked him to tell me what's happening, what's going on.
Yeah, real quick. One, I actually agree that no, she should not be. He shouldn't have talked to her about disciplinary action in front of other officers. Or, you know what I mean?
No, that,
Like,
should have been
be a
in an
one-on-one.
office between
And
yeah,
and
one-on-one.
also probably should have had a rep there as well. Am I just mistaken about what the Florida accent is?
No, she doesn't have a Florida.
She doesn't
She's been-
sound very Florida.
She sounds
She
like
just
a
said that.
import.
She just said she has known him for 20 years.
Because from when she joined the police force, I'm
Yes.
guessing there. So
Yeah, I think she grew up in the north.
I found it disheartening to hear him laugh that
Who?
after I did get out of the hospital,
the sergeant.
When did he
several
laugh?
days later, that it was funny to him why I was asking him that AC Bechtel was calling for me. I had no idea at that point, and there's a time and a place for everything.
Wait, what?
We all know that.
Basically, apparently she had done fucked up so bad, he was just laughing about how terrible she was.
Okay, what does that have to do with this?
Yeah, she's
Like,
no,
this
she's
is
trying to.
such a fucking deflection. Like, oh, I'm upset. Fuck you.
Oh wait, no, you want to talk about deflections? Just wait, it goes full.
You know, could I have picked a better time and a place for my interaction with Mr. Gould? Absolutely. I own that. However, there was a time and a
Did you hear that? This is I take responsibility for my mistake, but this dude's
Yeah, but she
mistake
didn't go
was
that
bigger.
far.
No.
She didn't go that
There was a
far.
lot of different
Oh, I
place for
guess
our
she-
interactions.
She
yeah.
said,
She
could I
walked
have?
right
I
up to
suppose.
the line of I'm ready to take responsibility, and then she stopped and went. But what I'd like to do is throw somebody else over there.
place to discuss something like that. And that wasn't the time.
Okay.
I loved his response of, okay.
Okay, yeah.
I had been humiliated in front of my spouse and 2 other officers.
Objection, relevance.
She's been all right. So she was humiliated.
Well, they asked if she had anything she wanted to say.
Yep.
By my supervisor, someone I've known for 20 years.
You hear? This is the Amber Heard crying school, by the way.
Note that it appears that Bethany is crying because Sergeant Beath told her how she may be disciplined, but just moments before, she also told the investigator this.
So when I did ask him, as my supervisor and someone I've known for 20 years, what's going to happen? What's going on?
It sounds like she asked and he answered, but didn't like how he answered and is trying to use it to her advantage. To be fair, we don't know because we weren't there, and because the department redacted this portion of the interview, which now continues.
Hey, man, can you give me a candy bar?
Yes?
Oh,
I guess you were supposed to say no.
say no.
Oh, no. You.
Why would
Gay.
you say that in front of all these people? There's a time and a place, man. Jesus.
Sorry, I fucked that up for
Seriously.
you. I was like, yeah, I can Venmo you.
It's just disheartening to hear how funny that was to him. Sorry.
No, take a minute, take as much time as you need, and you
Man, if I was in there, I'd have been like, "Did you
No.
watch the body cam footage?" 'Cause
This
you
is
were
what
pretty
Mad
funny.
was. This is what Mad was talking about, where she's taking advantage of the male inherent nature of like, oh god, a woman's crying.
Yep.
Yeah, here, please take the time you need to do what you need to do.
Yeah, because if a guy
I only
did
have
that,
a
they'd be
slight
like,
boner. It's not
if-
you, it's the tears.
if a guy did that, they'd be like, all right, pull yourself together. Seriously. What are you
No,
what are you
not
doing?
today.
No, today they would.
Tell
They'd
me
be
when
like,
you, if you'd like to keep talking or if you want me to proceed.
I think I have the
Same
strength to
thing
go
with
on.
Sergeant Glass. I was really. It hurt to hear him speak because
He's
I'm
black.
such a fucking hero,
consider
and I've
myself
always
he's-
been so
like
good
a
at this.
trusted
And he's
part of
black.
that team.
She considers it hurt because she's a trusted part of that team.
Yeah, sure you
I'm
are.
a senior officer who they put a lot of responsibility on.
But not
You
enough
know-
responsibility to be a sergeant. Go on.
Yeah,
Do you know
not
that-
enough that you could handle it.
But do you know how much of an indictment of their police department it is that she's apparently getting responsibility put on her? It's
30 by 30,
Whenever
baby.
we have a new officer come out, it is not abnormal for them to put that person in my zone to look after them, to take care of them, to guide them.
Wait, what?
I cannot
what did Sika
tell you
say?
the amount of time.
when a new officer gets put out, it's not normal for them to put him in her zone so that she can look after them and guide them and take care of them.
Wait, why is that not normal?
No, she said it's not abnormal, as in
Right,
she's trying to
right.
say, I guess she's the one who's the hey, I'm a veteran, let me help you.
Yeah,
learn
yeah,
the
yeah.
ways.
What's that?
As
Oh,
I
we
may
have
know, I see,
supervisors
because I'm one
in
of the most senior, trustworthy people on that ship,
In-
and they
No,
know
what it,
that.
what
in
it is
FTOs for this exact thing. Nah, give it to the lesbo. Go on.
what it is, hey, you're gonna roll with her until we can actually put you with someone who knows what they're fucking doing. So just follow her around. We'll get you paired up with someone who can train you here in a little while.
I don't even think that's what she's referring to because I don't think she's an FTO.
No, I think she's saying that they're just gonna be in the same general
Area,
vicinity
yeah.
of her car, so she can drive by and they can do the thing where the two cops pull next to each other and are talking.
Yeah, Boosh, what this lawyer is actually doing right now is he's looking straight down at the paper with his thumb and his forefinger on his brows so that the palm of his hand is covering his eyes so no one can see him roll them all the way up into the back of his fucking skull.
This is one of those sequences where I wish they had almost had a female type prosecutor, like the same like Johnny Depp had for his lawyer, because
Oh yeah,
You
that
need a
was
woman-
brilliant.
you need a woman who's not taking this shit. Like when
Yep.
she starts trying to fake cry, and she'll just be like, "Bitch."
And
Shut your
also,
mouth.
dude, it was so brilliant that they had a female lawyer because if it was a guy, they would have like, look how mean this man is and how horrible he's being to this poor woman. That's fucking
It helped
brilliant.
that they also got an attractive one too, because the people can try to pretend it doesn't help, but it does. So that does help.
So when I eventually was able to get into that clubhouse and sit down, because I'm still having this excruciating pain.
The audio is redacted yet again.
I think their redaction is because she's now talking about her medical emergency, and it's probably some kind of HIPAA thing for
Yeah,
it.
absolutely.
But she's using the fact that she had a panic attack over how much she fucked up as a defense against her fuck up, which
By the
is
way,
hilarious.
what is this clubhouse that she is referring to?
That's like, right next to the community pool. They usually have that a clubhouse. Yeah, maybe. They don't have those in Texas.
Okay, sorry. Okay, I
Yeah.
thought she said that she recovered.
So that was the video we
the
saw where
clubhouse
she.
is the place that rich people go to hang out before they do the thing they went there to do.
I know, but I thought she said, and then I finally recovered enough to where I could return to the clubhouse.
But what's great is we saw the video though. So we saw the sequence of events. She didn't start losing her shit till they watched the security camera footage.
Right.
And they saw how much she screwed up.
Her life, and this is the first interaction she's having with him, and had to ask him to leave. And there was certain points throughout there he was demanding her to look at him.
Who?
She's now
Her
crying.
spouse,
She
I
sees
guess.
me upset. And he's demanding her to look
Who's
at him.
demanding?
The sergeant.
The one that she's known for 20
And
years,
very
and this is the
Yeah.
first time they've
intimidated
ever
she did
met?
just that, because where is she gonna go? Again, there is a time and a place, and that was not it. And I'm
Then
gonna
why'd
just
you
say
ask?
it, but if I was married to a man, would Sergeant Beat have demanded my husband to look at him?
See, there it is.
I
Right
mean,
there.
if
Oh
yeah,
my
maybe, but
God.
he would have stood up for himself.
she's using the lesbian friends defense of like I'm only being attacked because I'm lesbian. Like, come on. Look, the lawyer, the other lawyer's like, I'm not even gonna fucking address this bullshit. Let's just.
This is a woman that day.
A final redaction, and upon returning, her union rep steps up
Here's
to
the
ask a
union
couple
rep.
of leading questions.
And take what's mine. I've never not.
So, Matt, here's the union rep to try to rehab her entire testimony.
Is he? Is,
One last question.
oh, there he is.
But I don't
Wait,
wanna
no,
cut
that's
you
the
off
same
either.
guy,
Is
isn't
there
it?
Anything you
Oh,
want to
wait, he's doing the Columbo.
express before I go to that?
It's okay.
Okay. Is there anything I failed to ask you that is pertinent to this investigation and should be brought out?
No, sir.
Okay, now we switch. To
Other than
the
that is the end of the interview and the time.
I just have a few questions.
Here's the union rep.
Sergeant Grossman asked you that the basis for the resisting without violence you talked about. You already got into that. I'm not going to ask you to repeat that, but also one of the bases was the fact that the underlying call was an active assault with firearm, correct?
Yes.
So you had that knowledge when you were arriving on scene. And so,
By the way, does this sound like a union rep who could not really muster up any desire to actually defend this woman?
I mean, this seems like somebody that's well. I got to do it, man. I'm fucking union rep.
you've already testified to this multiple times, but you get there and he already didn't follow your initial lawful command, right? Which was don't go in your pockets.
Yes.
But
then
he
reached in his
did.
pocket,
He did follow
took
that
something
command.
out, which turns out was a phone. Is that accurate?
Yes.
All right. You've never met this guy before?
Never.
You don't know what he's capable of?
I do not.
You have no idea what's perhaps in his other pocket?
I don't.
Okay. Ultimately, you did the best you could with the information you had at the time, right?
No,
Have any other questions?
Yeah, this
you did
union
not
rep
do
is,
the best.
That was
No.
the extent of it. So, that was the end. But the end result is her ass got fired.
Wait, so did their defense? Did their defense roll down to she did the best she could?
that they were going like you were, like we were talking about, the good faith that she was acting, that the call was someone was armed
Right.
and causing a disturbance, and that she was acting in good faith based on that, and that since he disobeyed lawful commands, everything that happened after was acceptable.
I just
Dude,
want to let
this woman was going into a war zone. She was storming the beaches at Normandy. Okay, as soon as the door opened on that vehicle, the bullets were flying. Like she
Oh,
had
I
to get
was-
out there. She had to get control.
I mean,
she had to
she was
take that
basi-
beach.
She was
Okay,
basically
so
Tom Hanks in
I-
Saving Private Ryan.
Okay, so I went in my head. I went the opposite direction, where it's like, listen, as we all know, you know, she. If you look at it, if you adjust for her being a out of shape lesbian, she did, you know, as well as anybody else. If you adjust for all she had to overcome of, you know, being unphysically into, you know, and no presence.
So the way the union rep should have asked that question is, you were doing the best you could have,
A-
right?
Absolutely. That's exactly what. And if you would, and if we're grading on a curve, if you adjust for what, you know, yeah, then she's just as good as any guy.
Am I saying she's top of her class? No. But if we're grading
Yep.
on a curve, that was a solid D minus.
It's
Which is still passing in my
I think
book.
Soul Assassin might have. She was having a bad day for whatever reason. Probably maybe
Yeah,
her spouse
could've.
pissed her off, and she just went off on this dude. Maybe her spouse was hanging out with a gay man. And-
Listen, it's the exact same thing as what you see with the gender pay gap. Yeah, there's a big gap until you adjust for different factors like marriage. How often do they not quit to go do something else, like raise a family?
What
blah, blah, blah.
job
Once
they're doing?
Yeah, once you
Hours
adjust
per-
for all of
yeah,
that,
yeah.
it is
There is no-
1 cent, and they don't even know why. All they know is just a 1 penny difference once you adjust
Well,
for all
and
of those things.
furthermore,
So what I'm
if
saying
you go
is-
a little deeper into that.
Well, hold on, let me finish. Because what I'm saying
Okay.
is, if you adjust for her, she is probably officer of the year.
But yeah,
Yeah.
as far as that pay gap goes too, if you go a little deeper into that, what actually seems to happen a lot in trend is women have a higher starting wage.
Mhm.
And then as the years progress, usually around 30, men overtake and start making more. But yeah, women in their 20s generally make more than men in their 20s by a
Well,
significant amount.
and it's gonna actually this gap is gonna flip the other direction because if you look at advanced degrees and those
Yep.
kinds of things, they're all like we're talking like 60-70% women at this point in those you know advanced graduate schools and the rest.
Yep.
Let's see, let's see. She is getting sued, and it's not the first time. Yes, she is getting sued after she got fired. The dude who got arrested is suing her and the other officer
Why?
who was um, violation of
I,
constitutional
I
rights,
know, I know. It was a
unlawful,
joke.
all that good stuff. Because it seems like the fact that she was, this is where it gets, the way to, she's gonna go with qualified immunity, and they're gonna try to pierce that defense by saying no. What would be the reasonable and prudent officer would have behaved in her manner. And I think based on what Mad
Yes,
was saying, that probably is going to be an easy thing to get qualified immunity thrown out.
absolutely, and
Well,
and,
you
and I
you
agree
can
that it
throw that
should.
out based on the way all the other police officers were acting. Because you can
Listen,
see that no other reasonable officer was acting that way in that situation.
I 100% support police, right? And I am not one to throw another officer under the bus, but the last thing you need in your department is shitbags like this because they bring your entire department down, both your morale and your reputation and the way people see your department.
Oh, yeah, because every interaction you have with someone in your community, they're not going to see you. They're going to see the worst police officer that they have dealt with.
Yep. And but by the way, and I 100% would be right there with like, yeah, he needs to get fired, he gets fired, whatever. If they did the thing that they're causing, but man, dude, my default now though is, except for if it's a woman or a lesbian, my default is I usually I always wait until I see the video and then get the information afterwards and lean towards believing the officer versus the supposed victim until all the information. That's just my default. But I will, if given the information that he was in the wrong, I have no problem saying it, calling it out, and say that they're a piece of shit. And I think that's the way it should be for everybody. I think, you know what I mean? I think you should be kind of neutral until you get the facts, and then you make your decision. But to have your default as, oh, is a cop, all cops are a bastard, therefore he is guilty of this thing that I read about on a meme on Twitter. That's all I'm saying. I'm done.
Yeah, I definitely think the ridiculous all cops are bastards. That's stupid. I mean, there are cops just like every other profession and person that are bad people, and it's the problem that we've had, and is because a lot of cops, unfortunately, will reflexively just defend fellow cops even in the face of evidence.
Right. And
And
but that comes from having the other side having you constantly be attacked and constantly being, looked at and recorded and yelled at all the time. So yes, you're going to rally behind with your people. You're going to put up that wall. And
well,
which just further
Yeah, because it's you against the world.
exactly.
I also think there's going to be a situation where our cops are going to get worse because the good
Well, all the
people
good
who,
ones are being driven out.
well, that's what I'm
True.
saying. Like, good cops will have no stomach for dealing with what's coming down the pike, and they will have options for other professions. The people who will now be attracted to being police officers are people who are attracted for the ability to have power over others instead of
Exactly.
trying to serve and protect others.
Yeah, people like this bitch.
Yeah, exactly. This woman, she's not a cop because she wanted to protect people. She is a cop because she wanted to be able to boss people.
By the way, and fuck the people that say that's every cops are just looking for power. No, dude, I just happened to, get the job. I never had any, you know what I mean? But after I medically retired, I put it in and they accepted me like right away. I'm like, okay, I guess this is what I'm gonna do now. Same as anything else,
Yeah, my brother is a Capitol police officer. He works Senate side, so he wasn't at the
Yeah.
incident. He got into it because he got a criminal justice degree from college, and it was they were recruiting, and it was a federal job with federal benefits. So
There wasn't a lot of opportunities for, not a lot of people were asking for recon jobs from a burnt scout. You know what I mean? It's not like it's not like Burger King called us like, hey, we need you to do recon or McDonald's secret sauce or whatever.
well,
Yeah.
you would. I mean, you could have worked out for Burger King. You were flame broiled. It's all right.
Yeah, Boosh is right on that comment too. They already are, Chad, in major cities. They don't even go into certain areas because they aren't allowed to protect themselves.
Did you see that shit with Philadelphia, or they are now like they just shut down like
Yeah, if you call
40% of their
911,
precincts?
we ain't gonna help.
No,
we're,
but they're
we're probably not gonna answer that call.
Matt, did you see that story about what they're
No,
doing
I
in
didn't.
Philly? They're like, there's a section of Philly now where between 2 a.m. and 6 a.m. they are not responding to calls.
What the fuck? Bro, that's what I grew up in a town. Listen, well, I didn't grow up in the town. I grew up on the ranch, but the town, well, I did until I was like 12. That's when we moved out to the ranch. Anyway, dude, our cops would be off at midnight because our town was 300 people.
Yeah, because
Philly should not have the same hours as a town of 300 people.
Yeah, they were like, well, they're doing
Thank
it
you
in
for
like
calling emergency services. If you are currently dying, please leave a message and we'll
What
be
they-
by to collect your
when they
body
did
at 6 a.m.
It was some silly shit like we did a statistical analysis, and in the precincts that were shutting down between these hours, there's just not enough need for it, so it'll be fine.
Oh shit, dude. By the way, I sorry, 300 was Edom. My town was 545 people, right, at the time. So what we would do when we were in high school, we would wait until midnight and then go drinking and driving, called backroading.
That's true. It's going on the
Yeah,
idea
we'd
that criminals
go
somehow
down to
won't
the,
figure out that they won't get cops called on them in these hours. It's
Yeah, we'd go down to the railroad tracks and we'd like all the cars would end up down there and we'd all be drinking underage.
Yeah, that eventually would happen. Like we're all driving the back roads, you stop, another car comes up, and then eventually you're just having a pastor party.
Yep.
And then someone starts tearing phone books. Who was that? Was that you, Slender, that sent me that clip?
Yes.
Validating my
Fucking-
oh my god!
experiences.
Did
Verified.
we finally found pictures of the Power Squad or whatever?
I've
No.
shown you footage of them.
Yeah.
I've seen footage of the Ninja Turtles singing in concert, but not.
Fucking
men.
Gerald Morgan from Mug Club over on Crowder. He specifically referenced a group of Christians who would go to schools and tear phone books.
Because it existed if you loved God.
I mean, it's right up there with who was it? Shaquille O'Neal? No, it was Sinbad playing a genie in a movie. What is the thing that we all
Mandela effect.
Mandela affected into our memory?
But by the way, I'm pretty sure I used a clip of the actual Power team doing a performance in one of the What the Flicks. You guys didn't
you
believe me.
did. You were so proud you had found it.
Yep.
Yeah, you did. You did. I remember.
Anyway, all right. I've really been craving a smoke for like 3.5 hours.
Yep. Thanks for
You should
coming
quit.
on.
Yeah, sorry I was late, guys. That's my fault.
All right. So the next
That was
time
on
we'll
me.
get to have fun. We can mad fap a police body cam video of a 17-year-old girl getting pulled over for her first ticket and not getting her license fast enough, according to the first-year officer. So it ends badly.
Oh boy. Yeah, usually the new ones are very aggressive. The older, the more veteran police officers are too lackadaisical. There's a sweet spot there where you're at your peak.
Where you use just the minimally required legal force
Yep.
to subdue someone.
Before years of dealing with the bureaucracy of the police department has, stomped your soul into nothing.
where you're just counting till you hit the retirement.
Yep. I
That's
just got
it,
3
like I
more
said,
days.
my brother's got a calendar. He's out in 2025.
Nice. That's
All right.
going
Well,
quick.
thanks everybody for hanging out and on Mad's channel too. So,
Thanks, Boosh was apparently is the only one, and I haven't seen any of them.
you have 7 people watching right now on yours. I know Sherry was from your feed.
They should do they should do better things with their time than watch my channel.
You know, that's exactly how you promote your channel to get growth. Isn't that why you're like? Is that why you're starting your new channel?
Yeah. What's 20 years? Oh, what?
For retirement?
Oh, you're probably right. Yeah, isn't it?
You got out well before that was even a thing. So, right.
What are you talking about? I retired from the military in only 4 years. It only took me 4 years to retire.
One-man shows on your channel. So
Oh, hey, man.
You're medically retired, right? So you're good.
Okay. My card is as blue as anyone else's. That's the retired military retired ID card is blue.
Yeah, I know my father has.
Yeah, I was explaining to everybody else because, like, what are you talking about? What?
Oh, it's I mean, yeah, you get your veteran benefit, you get your retiree benefits, you get your discounts to Disney, all that good stuff.
What? Oh, not the SeaWorld, apparently. Apparently, I went one time a long time ago, and they said, oh, we don't offer a military discount is only for active duty. I'm like, hold on. Just real quick. So what you're telling me is that the only people that get a discount are the ones that are actively in the military in San Antonio who are probably on AIT and have been in for 3 minutes. But people who have served for years, have been injured, physically injured, they don't get the discount. But you support the troops.
Should have been all the. You're saying that wounded warriors aren't good enough for your discount.
No, it's simple. Everybody supports the troops, but nobody gives a fuck about the veterans. That's the truth.
Oh yeah, I don't disagree.
You know who does? Universal Studios, dude. They are selling for military. You get it's like $200. It's a 3-day ticket that basically it's good for the whole year though. It's unlimited visits for an entire. It's like an annual pass for a couple $100. So, and it's available for active, retiree, or DoD employees. So
what? No, the SeaWorld isn't on base.
No.
What?
You might actually be. You might be. I think SeaWorld / whatever company they are in talks to merge with Cedar Fair, and Cedar Fair does give retiree discounts.
Look, it may not be like that. We're talking. This was 2009 or 10. You know what I mean? It's been a minute. I have not been to SeaWorld. It's not on my to-go list all the time. It's like, ooh, it's my weekly SeaWorld trip.
All right. Well, that being said, we are an hour and a half over time, so I got to do it.